Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back with another Legacy League, and today we are playing Nethergoyf, a very powerful creature that is 1 black mana, but can completely put your opponents into the abyss where they have to block it each turn because it becomes so big. It becomes a 5/6 when we get all our various types of cards into the graveyard, which happens more often than you would think. So let's talk about this build. This is somewhat control-y tempo. So I like to call it tempo control because you can really do either one. You can go balls to the wall with your Nethergoyfs and your Psychic Frogs, and you can really beat face, or you can kind of hang back and protect the queen being Tamiyo here, as she ticks up toward one of the best ultimates in Legacy. And the way we're doing that, of course, we've got a pair of Baleful Strix. We also have Brazen Borrowers to balance things. We've got 5 removal spells, and we've got a whole lot of interaction on the stack. We've got 3 Dazes. We've got 4 Forces. You'll note that I'm only playing 3 Dazes, and I'm only playing 3 Wastelands, so it's not the full tempo package that you would expect from a Delver deck. But we're playing, in addition to Baleful Strix, we're also playing another kind of tech creature, which is Emperor of Bones. This card is really good against graveyard strategies. Every turn you can exile one of your opponent's cards from their graveyard, and you can essentially even play it. So let's say hypothetically they just speculatively put a Gristlebrand or a Atraxa or an Archon of Cruelty into their graveyard. During combat, you can exile it, and when you adapt this, you can actually put it into play, and it's like, it's basically like sneak attacking it into play, where it has haste and it can attack, and you get the ETB trigger. So you get to essentially cast Atraxa with this ability. So it's really strong to punish graveyard strategies, and unfortunately with Grief being banned, that's still not enough. Like, the blue-black Reanimation deck is still extremely powerful. Max Distortion won a tournament over the weekend playing it, and all he did was take out the Griefs, which were banned, so he had to take them out and replace them with a couple Tamiyos and a couple Fatal Pushes, and I think there are like a couple, maybe 2 Thoughtseizes. That's it, right? And it's still really good. He just sliced like a knife through butter through the first 5 rounds of the tournament, and I think he only lost 1 entire match the entire time, and that was it was against this deck basically that he lost, and even then it was a total slog to stop him from being able to reanimate his spell. So this deck has built-in Nile spell bombs, which I think are very powerful, and also up your artifact count so that you can get a little bit of additional Nethergoyf power and toughness. We are also playing a single Lorien Revealed as our 19th mana source, so that we can also get that as a type. And this is just convenient. Like, there might be situations where we actually cast this, so we'll see what happens. In terms of the sideboard, it's extremely simple. Anti-Eldrazi / 12 post tech in Harbinger of the Seas. Consign to Memory, which is good against 12 post Eldrazi, and it's good against storm type strategies. It's potentially can stop like a Thassa's Oracle trigger. It's good against Karn Forge. 3 Hydroblast, because Painter is a very strong deck right now that I have a ton of respect for. It's amazing how strong a lot of the Painter players are. If they're dedicated Painter players, it feels like they're practically impossible to beat, because they can always figure out a way to assemble a winning board state. And of course, they themselves are running somewhere between 5 and 8 Red Elemental Blasts. So this is a tool for fighting back against those. We have a single Surgical Extraction just as an additional graveyard hate piece. We have 2 Force of Negations in case we get queued into turn 1 combo. I have faced up against the Necrodominus deck. Yesterday I played against it. It wasn't very fun. And we've got 4 Orcish Bowmasters, and these come in against the creatureless control type decks, Jeskai control. They can also come in against Beanstalk decks. So that's the deck. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to play a full 5 matches as always. I'll see you in round 1. As always, be sure to put a comment with a timestamp if you see me make a mistake that I somehow don't catch. I am not playing to win. I am playing to get better. And I hope you are doing the same. And by playing to get better for long enough, more and more victories will hopefully roll my way. So I'm just going to keep at it. That's the whole spirit of this entire channel, is just getting better and really thinking and learning and not falling for, results-oriented thinking or cognitive biases, but actually looking at, okay, what transpired? What could I have done? Not getting salty, not getting tilted, just trying to get better. So I appreciate you joining me on this voyage. All right, round one, we are up against a likely Doomsday player. They played Doomsday a few months ago and generally play Doomsday in both Legacy and Vintage. So I'm going to presume they're on Doomsday. So against Doomsday, you want some disruption, but you also want to clock them. And this hand does both quite well. So I don't think they're likely to have Wasteland. So I think I am going to open Underground Sea Nethergoyf just to kick off the beats. Let's keep this. They're mulliganing to 6, which, might be combo, might not be combo. All right. They may have some creatures. Like this Fatal Push can potentially do something on the stack. Nethergoyf here. Like if they put Thassa's Oracle on the stack and they don't have full, 0 cards in their graveyard, you can potentially push with the trigger on the stack. So this isn't necessarily a dead card, but I'm definitely going to be looking to brainstorm this back. What I'm probably going to do here during my next turn is brainstorm looking for a fetch so that I can put the Fatal Push back, though, because I don't really want it. And I don't think the Baleful Strix will do a lot either if we are in a Doomsday matchup. There is a risk with a low land count that I don't find a land here. So I think I am going to ponder first and try to find a land. See, I would have brainstorm luck myself, so I'm glad I didn't do that. All right. Hopefully we'll find a land next turn, but we are attacking for 1. Not the most assertive opening. Yeah, and those cards would have been terrible, by the way. It was like double Brazen Borrower, which is really bad in the matchup. It doesn't really do anything. All right, Underground Sea. And Tamiyo. Okay, this is the new tech that a lot of Doomsday decks are playing. This doesn't necessarily mean that they're not on Doomsday, but the good news is we do have a Fatal Push for this. But the bad news is we kind of have to wait to Fatal Push. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I am going to... there's still a good chance that I whiff. So the options are Brainstorm, find a fetch, be able to attack in, even have a way to... I'm going to go for it. If they're on a tempo deck... Okay, we didn't find the fetch, which is unfortunate, but we are going to be attacking with a 2-3 here. I think I'm going to put this back. I don't think this is likely to matter. I can shuffle it away. I may actually ponder here. Do I want to ponder here? This is not going to be very good for a while. Yeah, I think I'm going to ponder again. And this is dangerous because they might Doomsday, but I need forward momentum here, and they can just block as is. Oh, Mishra's Bauble actually is pretty good here because it buffs my guy, and it also gets a peek at their deck. And then we could draw this Swamp for the next turn, and we could start Strixing. I don't like Strixing here. If they don't have a Brainstorm, though, Strixing does put a kibosh on their clue acquisition. I think we can do better, though. I'm going to any order shuffle. All right, and we got a Tamiyo ourselves. I am going to attack. I think that they are probably just going to take it, but they might block. They are blocking. Okay, good. It's not good for us, but it's not the worst. All right, so unfortunately, we may miss the window to Fatal Push just because we were having trouble with our ponders and our brainstorms. All right, they're surveilling. They may be able to Doomsday without even having Dark Ritual next turn, which is scary that the game has progressed to that point. They are most likely playing like the Tamiyo plus Frog plus Doomsday build that a lot of people have been playing, including Michael Reed, whose deck I will be featuring on the channel later on. I'm not quite ready to just pick up and play Doomsday. It's a really skill-intensive deck, and I want to practice a little bit more first. All right, Cracking Misty. At this point, even a daze. would stop this, but I've got to try here. I suspected days are a force. Yep. I don't regret anything. I don't think keeping mana up for days was correct. Let's think about what we can actually accomplish here. They're going to attack. They're going to create a clue, which then they can use to crack into the into their Doomsday pile. The best chance we have at this point is probably pushing the actual thing, or if they get greedy with the lands and they don't have enough lands, we may be able to like find a wasteland to get them off of enough mana. We need 2 consecutive lands, so they would need to take 2 turns to win, which I think is unlikely. We'll just see what their pile is. All right, I like to always start by just counting the forces and the dazes. I presume they play 3 to 4 dazes. Okay, there's 4 dazes in exile. 1 force, 2 force, 3 force. Uh-oh. They have a force either in their hand or their pile. No, wait. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And then in terms of Edge of Autumn's out. Street Wraith's out. They might have another Street Wraith. Petal, they might have another Petal. Wait, 2 Petals here. Lion's Eye Diamond isn't in. So they're definitely doing a pass the turn pile, I presume. But the fact that they have a force in their pile is super duper scary, and I don't think we're going to be able to win. Because my best shot is, let's see, let's count their, so they've got 1, 2, they've got 1 more land in hand. I don't think even back-to-back Wastelands is going to matter, because they're going to be able to, I'm going to play it out, but I'm not hopeful. My strategy is very simple. I'm going to see what I draw. If I draw Wastelands, I will fire those off. If they get greedy and attack here, is there any way we can deal enough damage? I don't think so. They should create a clue. Well, I don't know what's in their hand, so maybe it doesn't make sense to create a clue here. All right. So we did shuffle, so we don't have the Murderous Cut on top anymore, probably. Lauren Revealed's pretty terrible here. We still don't have a freaking card in our graveyard. Like, it would definitely pain me to like have to push this here to be able to get through. I'm going to brainstorm. I think the upside of us finding a land, then we could push to clear the path and we can attack in. We have Murderous Cut, which we can cast on. Again, I think it's extremely unlikely that the situation will arise where we can. I'm going to put back Tamiyo. Tamiyo's not going to be part of the game. Yeah, if I surveil, I might be able to surveil an artifact into the graveyard and get more damage. I think we're going to keep Brainstorm for sure. We're going to keep the 2 removal spells. I'll do it like that. I'll play this out. Fetch. I'm going to go ahead and just get a Underground Sea here. Now we have 3 power. They're potentially dead next turn. I am going to push here just because I really need to get combat damage through, even though it's not a lot of combat damage. And now what we'll plan to do is try to Murderous Cut on their, we'll try to Murderous Cut. We know they don't have days, but they will probably force it when we Murderous Cut on their Thassa's Oracle. That's the card I'm thinking of. They're brainstorming here. Nothing we can do to punish. Again, our hope is just that they try to Thassa's Oracle while they still have a card in their deck and we can push. But we're confident they're going to have a force here. But like, I never just like let the Doomsday player get a free pass. Like, I always make them actually try to resolve their Thassa just in case a window appears. And here, that's fine. And what I'm going to do is with the ability on the stack, this is going to get forced, but I'm going to try it. 1, 2. So maintaining power and toughness, not that it's going to matter unless they have a second Thassa's Oracle, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to force here. Okay, and here's the force that we expected. Okay, so good game. I feel kind of bad losing that when we had really good reason to suspect they were on Doomsday and we were on the play. we're going to be on the play again, but we have to win 2. We're going to have to win 1 on the draw now. I guess either way, you always have to win 1 on the draw. All right, so against Doomsday, I think Consigned to Memory is not the worst, but it's not super good. I think negations are good, though. Strix isn't necessarily terrible. Emperor of Bones doesn't matter here, I don't think. Harbinger of the Sea is not good enough. In my opinion, they have Lotus Petals and they're base blue anyway, so we're not going to be able to cut them off black. Orcish Bowmasters does attack and do damage. I think this is potentially better than Brazen Borrower, which is really weak. We can't really remove all our removal because they could have Barrowgoyfs from the sideboard. That's very common tech. Baleful Strix does play, though, because it walls Frog and it walls Tamiyo. So I'm going to keep Baleful Strix in case the game does go a little longer. We can take out our Nile Spell Bombs. They're not a graveyard strategy deck. And it's just not like impactful enough against Barrowgoyf and things like that. Important note with Barrowgoyf, when they flip a bunch of cards, assuming they're getting an attack in against you, which is really embarrassing if they're able to do that as a non-creature deck against a creature deck. But if they are actually able to deal combat damage to you, that all happens as one step. There's no point at which after they've milled the cards, they can choose a card and return it to their hand. There's no point at which you can respond with a Nile Spellbomb. So Nile Spellbomb is not particularly strong against them. We have one more card that we can cut. They're not going to be going after our mana most likely, but our mana base is pretty thin as is. I mean, like basically last game was dictated by the fact that we didn't have the mana that we needed to win, and we were having to shop around to find a fetch. We could take out a cut. I don't think cut is like super strong here. All right, and now we're more stack-based. I mean, it's just a very light change, but Orcish Bowmasters is more assertive against these decks. They do draw a lot of cards. Sometimes if their pile is built in a certain way, where they're assuming they're going to be able to draw a bunch of cards and you happen to flash into Bowmasters, it can ruin their pile. All right, this is a good hand. I like this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Nethergoyf, and then next turn I can, under City Sewers, potentially surveil something into the graveyard. We've got Force Up. We potentially have Force, even if they Thoughtseize us. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to not play on basics. So I'll just go fetch an Underground Sea here. This Fatal Push may not do anything, or it may be like absolutely critical. I don't think there's a single card in the format whose stock has gone up more than Fatal Push has over this past Postmodern Horizons 3 release cycle. Nethergoyf arriving is a 1-2. And they may actually play Fatal Push of their own. Doomsday is not famous for playing removal. It's famous for just winning the game before threats that the opponent has played become relevant. They're fetching. Okay, I'm always happy to see basic blue. All right, they're not going to be able to defend this if I can play it out with a... I mean, they could definitely daze here. So I kind of want an untapped mana source. All right, so options. If I play out this, I mean, if I push and they have to bounce to hand to protect her, that's not the worst. It's getting rid of their removal. I'm not worried about them ultimating when Nethergoyf is on the table. Nethergoyf can easily take care of her. I'm just going to cast and see what their next card is first. Okay, it's a land. Play Under City Sewer here. This is an easy card to put into our graveyard, further boosting our Nethergoyf. I think at this point, it doesn't make sense to cast Fatal Push. Well, let's see. Let's say we do cast it and they interact. Our Nethergoyf is going to be bigger. Okay, we've got a 4-5 on turn 2. This is good. If they just combo next turn, there's nothing we can do about it, but we are going to be able to take some serious life off the table, and they're unlikely to be able to win next turn, even if they Doomsday. Okay, we get a card. This card represents Hardcast Force. They're brainstorming. That feels like a desperate play. That might not be desperate, but I'm feeling pretty good here. Oh, we know that we actually know that they had a fetch land on top, so this isn't desperate at all. That was a mischaracterization. Okay, here's the same fetch, the Misty Rainforest that they showed earlier. They are passing the turn, which is great news for us. See what we draw here. Psychic Frog is good, but I think it's good as a second pitch spell. I don't think we play it out. The reason is we've already got so much interaction. Yeah, I think we attack with Nethergoyf, and if they don't do anything, in-step Bowmasters will be good. So now we have Force Negation and we have Force of Will, and we have the Bowmasters option. I'm feeling super good about this. If they put another cantrip on the stack, I will probably just go ahead and Bowmasters. All right, dropping to 10. A Psychic Frog. I don't technically have Psychic Frog Supremacy. However, let's say hypothetically we attack in and they block our Nethergoyf. We can Bowmaster in it after they've pitched their entire hand to beat Nethergoyf. They'll pitch 3 cards, 4 cards. Yeah, and then we can kill it that way. I think that's fine. I don't want to force here. And even if they are able to do stuff with Psychic Frog, we're going to have Orcish Bowmasters ready. Okay. Let's see. They could pitch their entire hand, in which case you'd become a 5/6, and he would survive the Bowmaster ping. But they would be pitching their entire hand and putting everything into Psychic Frog. I don't think they're likely to do that. I'm trying to think if there's any other option here, but I do want to attack here. So I'm going to attack, and I'm going to see what they do. Okay, they are not blocking. Options. We could deploy a Psychic Frog of our own. We will not have Psychic Frog Supremacy. I like just holding with double Force Up and Bowmaster. And if they get the Bowmaster ping, they're dead on the crackback. Okay, they're dropping to 5. They're playing a very dangerous game. I don't think they can even Doomsday anymore. And note that we're doing double force around days. So this is like super strong in my opinion. Barrowgoyf. This does have lifelink. I think we block I'm gonna go ahead and counter pitching Psychic Frog. Now they can't attack with Psychic Frog or they're probably dead. Well, I mean, they don't know they're dead, but my Bowmaster ping will hit them. The fact that they're tapped out, yeah, they're just hanging back. Okay, and now I think this is probably the end of the game. I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I think they'll probably concede. Because I'll have lethal pressure. This will be a force block. It's not necessarily a force block if they have a fatal push, but I will force a fatal push at this point. Yeah, and I have double force up now. So I think we just attack with everything. They can pitch their hand to make Psychic Frog big enough to kill my Nethergoyf. That's okay. They're not choosing to pitch their hand. So we still have double force up. They have 3 cards in hand. A pass. They cannot really fetch or draw cards. They're not going to be able to force. I feel like we've won this game. I'm trying to think of how they could win from here. That was a turn 5 victory. Nethergoyf is very, very good. It's a great card. I actually just ordered a playset today. I was skeptical, and it cost me. I ended up paying like $60 for 4 of these in today's market because I wanted the paper ones. Yeah, luckily I bought these early on MTGO and before they kind of spiked a little bit, but pick them up now. This is all I'm saying. Like, this card is just, it's the truth. It's legit. It's better than Delver. It doesn't pitch to force, but like, it's just hard to find situations where it's not going to be like super big, and it does put them in the abyss. All right. So do we make any changes knowing that they are playing Barrowgoyf? I think it's quite possible that they just take out Barrowgoyf for game 3 just because it's a slower card. But yeah, I don't know if we make any changes here. A Murderous Cut is pretty clunky. It's just a testament to the fact that black doesn't have very good removal that we have to play it. And I don't think we have to play it. Brazen Borrower is pretty good against Psychic Frog and against Barrowgoyf in terms of time walking. And it's also pressure. But is it better than Baleful Strix, which I'm not convinced it is. I think we run it back like this. Note that we're keeping the dazes in even though we're on the draw, just because we really do want to be able to disrupt them. This is a good hand. We have Bowmasters, we have some creature interaction, we got plenty of lands, and we have Force Blue card. I'm going to keep this. And I'm not going to play out turn 1 Tamiyo. I'm probably going to just go Verdant Catacombs into Surveil Land. One of the scary things about this deck is sometimes they just have turn 1 with protection, and there's nothing you can do. Okay, the fact that they went for the island means it's not going to be turn 1. All right, this is good. I think what I'm going to do now, instead of going for the Surveil Land, is I am just going to attempt to push this. Now I think I go Nethergoyf just to pressure the life and let Tamiyo attack if she wants to, because I'm not worried about Tamiyo flipping. I'm just worried about Tamiyo giving them a bunch of clues that they can draw. Clues are very dangerous in their hands. Let's see, yeah, I think I'm just going to Nethergoyf here. When in doubt, Nethergoyf. So we'll get an Underground Sea, and we will drop the Goyf. All right, and now I'm probably going to be really uncomfortable force of negationing if I have to, but I will do it. I'll make them have the days. Okay, no land drop yet. They could have a land drop after attack. It's just that, like, generally, I think most players go land, attack, pass. Okay, they did have it. All right, Psychic Frog. That's going to be the higher priority push. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't use my my Fatal Push last turn. Right, Daze is a great pickup. So I think we've already got a land in our graveyard. We could play this out, and then end step we could surveil. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to... I could attack and then push if they discard a card. No, there's no... Then they might force, but I have days if they try to force my push. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. This could be reckless, but we have days. They would have to have double interaction here if they want to successfully block my Nethergoyf. They're not going to fall for it. So they didn't block, so I am going to push now. All right, so we do 2 damage. That's fine. It's not a lot of damage. It'll be a lot of damage later. I think we just hold with 2 points of interaction against Doomsday. Likely they're going to have this back because they'll Dark Ritual into Doomsday, so Daze will unlikely stop them. They're going to build another clue. These clues are going to be really powerful later, but not when I'm Bowmastering them. Okay, Brainstorm is going to flip this. That's fine. I'll just attack in and kill her next turn. I'm not worried about them ultimating when I have a Nethergoyf on the table. But now I kind of need to defend my Nethergoyf, and I might have to use my Force plus Tamiyo to stop Nethergoyf, or to stop a removal spell on Nethergoyf. All right. Another land. Okay, so Daze is rapidly losing its value. Another Tamiyo. Okay, well, that's fine. This Tamiyo can potentially block. So I need to surveil something into the graveyard. An artifact would be great. A sorcery. Swamp is not something I want. I'm going to put it in my graveyard. All right. What can we do here? Yeah, unfortunately, this Tamiyo is going to be a problem now that they have a blocker. I don't want to... There's not even really a point in attacking here. I think what I need to do is I will attack just to see if they don't block for some reason, but they will. Okay, they're letting it through, which is good. All right, and now I'm going to pass, and I'm going to hope that I can do something special with Orcish Bowmasters this turn. I think playing out Tamiyo... So the issue is if I play out Tamiyo, then I no longer have the ability to Bowmasters, and Tamiyo is just really slow when they're already taking up their Tamiyo. They may cash their Tamiyo in to regrow a Brainstorm. Brainstorm is really powerful in the deck, and they could regrow it, they could Brainstorm, and they could flip this Tamiyo. If they do that, though, my Bowmasters will be like super duper strong. That's fine. All right, they're getting yet another clue. They have tons of mana. I'm not feeling favored at all. And I feel kind kind of embarrassed that I didn't deploy a Tamiyo a long time ago, but now I feel like I'm priced into deploying Bowmasters in step here. So I am going to deploy Bowmasters, and if they want to draw cards, they can, but they won't be able to draw cards after this turn. Yeah, they're going to draw a card here, which is fine. Next turn, I can deploy Tamiyo. It's just like super duper late to the party. Best card I could draw would probably be another removal spell. Brainstorm wouldn't be bad because then I could flip Tamiyo. This is pretty weak, but I think we do play it. I'm going to go ahead and go after this now since it's already tapped. Play a Tamiyo. The problem with trying to do damage to Tamiyo now is their Doomsday is going to leave them in a lot of life. Oh, wow. Didn't expect that. Well, meet Tamiyo number 2. That's right. I've been holding them. Okay, and that actually boosts my Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf is going to be able to take a bigger chunk out of Tamiyo here. And I do think that that is the correct play to go ahead and attack Tamiyo rather than their life total. Yeah, I think that was a questionable play. I mean, I don't know what's in their hand, but like Tamiyo is like super duper slow here. So we have force negation around days here. They're fetching to 15, probably surveilling. Okay, they're passing. This is really fun. I love this kind of like the fact that they can just win at any time. Okay, that's a pretty bad card at this point. I mean, it does represent mana. So it's daze protection, but I think I daze and I pick up the Undercity Sewer here. Don't want that resolving. They can't daze back. We don't know what their last card is. Okay, they're kicking that back up. Are they going to attack with Tamiyo? It doesn't really make sense to attack with Tamiyo. All right, the best card I can draw is probably something that can buff this Nethergoyf. That's not it. I'm going to sewer now just to see if I can put a sorcery into the graveyard. I'm going to keep this. I think this is a really good card because it just further locks them out of using these clues. Well, I'm going to attack with both Nethergoyf and Tamiyo, and they may respect the fact that I could have Bowmasters. Okay, we get a clue that we can crack end step. All right, and I'm just going to pass. They're going to block here. Yeah. So their Tamiyo is going to uptick, but I think once I can Bowmasters to take loyalty off, then they'll need 2 more turns before they can ultimate. And my Orc army will be big enough that it can deal damage as well, so I think I can keep her off ultimating. Also worth noting that they need both Dark Ritual and Doomsday to win here, and they wouldn't be able to do that with protection. I am so happy that they're doing that. I'm going to ping Tamiyo. Just going to keep pinging Tamiyo down. Okay, they're plussing, and they're probably passing. All right, let's crack this clue. Draw our Bowmasters. Now we will draw again. Psychic Frog is good, but Bowmasters is better here. I think the play is attack with everything after blocks. Play the Bowmasters out. They're debuffing our squad. We get our clue. Go to block. Okay, they're blocking there. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and Bowmaster. They could definitely force this. I'm just going to ping here to kill their Tamiyo. It's going to buff this further. We're going to do more damage. All right. Let's go ahead and pass. We have replacement Tamiyo if we want it. We could Psychic Frog next turn. They're in a very rough spot if they have any cantrips in their hand because any cantrip is going to kill Tamiyo and also do a lot of damage to them and make my army huge. There's nothing in their graveyard really worth recurring at this point. So I'm feeling extremely favored. I'm not sure how I would lose from here. We have Daze Protection. If they do go with Doomsday, Tamiyo will die this turn. I think that's the priority, is just getting her off the table. And then post-combat, I can potentially play out the Psychic Frog. I don't anticipate their deck having any sort of sweeper or anything like that. This is really good. I'm going to go ahead and use this to go get another Underground Sea. This will make my Nethergoyf even bigger. I'll play it out. I'm going to attack here at Tamiyo. And we'll see what they do here. I should always yield on those, but she'll be dead soon. Fatal Push on Nethergoyf. Does keep Tamiyo around. I think we let it happen. I can bring it back. So it survives for a turn. Do I want to bring Nethergoyf back? I've got sorcery, instant, creature. I don't have enough variety for it to come back with any real level of strength. I think it's better to just play out the Psychic Frog. And we'll just deal with Tamiyo one more turn. Next turn I can potentially clue, and then I can even flip my own Tamiyo and connect with Psychic Frog for one. And I'm not sure if we'll actually kill Tamiyo. And I've got 6 minutes on the clock, and I've been focusing on Tamiyo this entire time. Tamiyo is very good because it's been a huge distraction for me this entire game. So they're buffing her again. It's just bought them so much time having to attack down Tamiyo. They could next turn potentially buy back Fatal Push if I leave them with enough loyalty on Tamiyo. Douthy's fine. Douthy can't block any of this. All right, so let's think. I'm not opposed to just playing out this land. No, I should pitch it to Frog. So I'm going to go ahead and go to combat. Attack Tamiyo. Attack Tamiyo. And okay, so we're going to be dealing 2, and then we need to deal 2 more. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. Blue, crack, draw a card. This is a card we couldn't potentially discard. I'm going to discard this for sure. Discard this card for sure. If I discard this, then let's see. I just want to kill her. I know that may sound like crazy to be so aggressive, but yeah, let's discard this. We're going to get a card. Oh, those don't go in our graveyard. I didn't think about that. So now they have, some stuff in the void that they could potentially use. Okay. This would normally be a good card. I'm going to buff plus this. I think I play this out, and I'm just going to use it because my reasoning is I want to find a blue card to go with this, so I don't have to crack the bauble. Okay, they're going to pedal on top. Let's pass. They're going to have to get rid of the Psychic Frog pretty quickly, or it is going to kill them. Okay, daze. So now I do have Force Negation up. They're basically playing, assuming they can't actually resolve Doomsday, which they will have 3 black mana to resolve Doomsday if they'd like. They're basically playing a version of my deck that's much weaker because they have to carve out a bunch of cards in their deck for Doomsday. Now, they could have taken the Doomsday combo out completely. We haven't seen it, and we did see the Barrogoyfs. Barrogoyfs. I just love calling them berries. All right. Sorry, I'm a silly man. I'm a dad. I can only assume they have a bunch of cantrips in hand that they can't cast. I'm going to be attacking for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at least this turn. What do I have in the void that they could use? They may be thinking about that. Nothing good. Brainstorm would be Suicide. Tamiyo is super slow at this point. I'm thinking they probably attack Tamiyo. If they don't attack Tamiyo, then I'm going to probably regrow something because going plus with Tamiyo is not going to be super helpful in this matchup. There might be some crazy combo line that I can't anticipate as a non-combo player that maybe brainstorming into double Bowmasters can still work, but I can't imagine they could do that with 2 cards and the mana that they're presenting. These Bowmasters have been absolutely clutch, by the way. Sometimes the impact of a Bowmaster on a game is not immediately visible, but yeah, they've definitely been pulling weight because this clue's been sitting here the entire time denying them that draw. And they have at least 8 cantrips in their deck. Even if their Psychic Frogs connect, double Bowmaster trigger, it's got to be a tough spot for them. And they are passing without attacking. So I can only assume that they're going for it. Wow. Let's see, what do I have? I don't have anything in my sideboard that they can use. I'm just going to let this go. I am going to attempt to counter this. They will get the Force of Negation back when I do this, and they can sack their Douthie. But I don't think they're going to be able to win. So this is basically forcing them to sack their Douthie. Oh, wait, actually, they can't sack until it resolves. Okay, yeah, so we stopped it. I don't know what they're hoping for here. I think they're dead. Like super duper. But I do feel vindicated that we cracked that bobble into the void just to get a blue card. And I felt like it was taking an unnecessary risk. Okay, what are they doing? Brainstorming? If they brainstorm, that is like the ultimate suicide play. I don't see how they win in one turn. Because it's going to do 6 immediately and it's going to do an extra 6 next turn. They're casting a Tamiyo. That's fine. That will chump. All right, Nethergoyf. I think we get back. We can't get back anything. Oh wait, we could get back Fatal Push, and then let's see, is that lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not lethal. Oh, I forgot to crack a clue. That was bad. Yeah, I should get back Fatal Push. Their hand is empty. I'll just do a little extra damage. I mean, damage is basically preventing them from being able to Doomsday. Okay, black. Let's push. No reason to play anything out from our hand here. We're going to go ahead and attack with everything. There's no reason to deploy the Nethergoyf. There's no reason to really do anything here. I'm going to get a card off Psychic Frog. I can crack a clue. Okay, there's a Brainstorm. I think we just pass. Yeah, pass with clue. Brainstorm up. We can put back a card with Brainstorm. Yep, good game. That was intense. The Doomsday tempo deck is really good, but I think our deck is favored in the matchup. And I'm not saying that I played particularly tight, but I do think I played pretty patiently and did focus on Tamiyo. Like there's definitely a tendency among players to just like, she'll ultimate later, whatever. But like if you think about it, every turn she's debuffing your creatures, it's like it usually makes sense to just get her out of the way first, in my experience. All right, we are on the play again, lucky, against a mono black Pox strategy, most likely. I think it makes sense to go ahead and play out Tamiyo just to get some early advantage. Yeah, I'm going to do it. This is a great hand. I wish this was not an ETB tap land, but I'll take it. We're not going to be able to Psychic Frog turn 2. We're not going to be able to protect Tamiyo if they have a Fatal Push. I think we save our Force for like a Hymn, or maybe, I'm not sure. Force is probably a really bad card to have in our deck, but it probably is good if they do cast Smallpox. Let's take a look at their list real quick. So, Bowmasters, Barrelgoyf, Liliana, Karn, Innocent Blood, scary, Thoughtseize, Smallpox, Fel the Profane. They've got lots of removal. Innocent Blood is just creatures. It was printed before Planeswalkers. It'd probably say Planeswalker now if they printed it. Planeswalker or creature. Fel the Profane, multimodal. Let's see, Crucible. So they have Ensnaring Bridge, which we should keep in mind because they do get Hellbent and then they just win through, Graveyard Recursion with Crucible Worlds. Okay, we have our basics. I think we play on basics. We go ahead and get an island here. It almost kind of makes me just want to Island Ponder because it would really suck if they just turn one. Yeah, I think I'm an Island Ponder. I'm going to try to find an untapped land. These are bad. Baleful Strix does get us up a card. I mean, we're not going to be able to invest pitching cards into a Psychic Frog against their deck that has as much removal as they have. They have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 removal spells. That's a lot. Expedition Map. Okay, yeah. This is very much Pox-like. And I am going to play fast because this is going to be a long match. All right. That's great. I think we just open Strix. My reasoning being that we can't defend Tamiyo anyway. And this can eat one of the removal spells and draw us a card. And we do want to cast this before they're able to start Bowmastering. I will force Bowmaster. That is a card I will force. I haven't played against this type of deck since the Hunter Burton Memorial Open here in Dallas. And I played against a Pox player, and they were very good at Pox. And I think they like top 8'd with Pox. And it was just totally not a deck that I was ready to face. This is going to be countered here. This card's way too strong. I think we pitch a Ponder. Yeah, because Ponder's a liability if they do get... and we just 2 for 2'd, which feels pretty good. The Urza Saga could be a problem. I didn't really think about that when I shuffled back the Wastelands, but I still think that it's totally fine that we didn't do that. They don't currently have the mana to be able to productively deploy. I'm gonna actually play this out and check. No, I'm not. Okay, so hear me out. I'm gonna attack here. They don't have a lot of board sweepers. Like what they generally have is cards that just 1-for-1 your creatures. I'm going to play out a Psychic Frog here. I'm going to play out Sewer. Just you want all your lands out because they do start taking them out. This is pretty bad against Bowmaster. I don't want to get in a situation where we're casting that into Bowmasters just to draw a card and growing their army. So next turn, what I can do is I can go ahead and bobble here and see what their next draw is going to be. I want to make sure they shuffle first. And then next turn, I can Tamiyo plus Psychic Frog Connection or Ponder and flip Tamiyo. And I think they'll have a hard time dealing with Tamiyo. Tamiyo is going to debuff their squad, and it's going to keep ticking up. And I don't think they have any way of getting rid of Tamiyo other than Fel the Profane, which is a 4-mana spell, which is a lot of mana. Yeah, I don't see any other card to get rid of it. And Tamiyo is really good against like Retrofitter Foundry, which is, oh no, I don't like that card. All right, well, good news is we are going to have mana. Mishra's Factory, okay. Yeah, this is scary. But they haven't gone after our land at all yet. So we'll draw a card. I'll draw the card first. So I'll put this on the stack. I'll put this on the stack, and then I'll draw. Okay, so we get to draw first and see what we get. Okay, great. Basic Swamp is really good here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pay for this. Pay for this. I'm going to play out a Swamp. Oh, I get to draw a card. Yep, that's good. But I do think I'm going to play out the Swamp first. I'm going to go ahead and play out Tamiyo. She will not actually cost me anything because I'm about to draw and flip her. All right, so we're going to connect. We're going to draw. Tamiyo is going to flip. I'm not going to put any cards into Psychic Frog basically the entire game. I just don't think that's where we want to go. I'm not trying to tempo them out. I'm trying to have lots of cards in my hand and lots of lands in play. So when they go after my permanents, they won't be able to do a lot of damage. And I am going to keep paying for this Strix no matter how annoying it gets, because paying for Strix insulates me against like sacrifice effects. They've got Innocent Bloods. They've got, what's it called? Smallpox itself. So they're going to be trying to make me sacrifice stuff, and I want to sacrifice the Strix instead of the Psychic Frog. The way you beat Pox, in my humble opinion, is you just card advantage. They can only remove so many of your cards. Retrofitter is going to get debuffed by Tamiyo. Okay, they're creating a servo. I can just jump my frog over it. If they keep this servo around, it's going to type their mana too. This does not produce mana. I feel like this may actually be an albatross more than anything for them. We'll see. Factory. All right. Go ahead and click these. This isn't going to make me sacrifice. Now we get to draw. Days might actually be useful here. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to just plus here. I'm going to exile 3 cards from our graveyard. 1, 2. Maybe I shouldn't have exiled that artifact. Maybe that was bad. All right, I'm going to attack with both of these. I don't think I put any more power on it. Getting a card here. So we've already played out our land. I think it's okay to go ahead and ponder here because I might find a wasteland for the Tabernacle. I don't think these are what we need. Brainstorm actually is fine. I'm going to brainstorm now to potentially get rid of some of these lands in this daze, which is probably bad. Nethergoyf is good. I really wish I... Oh, wait. I have an artifact anyway, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to put these back, and I'm going to hold on to the gas. I'm just going to shuffle here. I'll just do it now. It doesn't really matter. And I will play out the Nethergoyf because it represents a pretty big clock. And I'll pass. Now, they can pay and they can keep it around, but Nethergoyf is going to get them in the abyss. It's 5-6. That was a really good turn. I definitely don't want to be dazing things because I've got 3 permanents I need to support here, but I will. Let's see if they even pay for this. It may not make sense. Okay, they do. Well, that's good for me because that means that it like further limits what they're going to be able to do. They've got 5 cards in their hand, and as far as I can tell, they're going to struggle to deploy them. I can Castle Lochthwain. Bowmasters is going to be dazed. Just daze this back. Okay, that's great. Yes. 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 Okay, I'll go draw my card, play my land. I think getting back a Force of Will is totally fine here. I don't think I'm going to win through Tamiyo Ultimate. I'm not even sure what benefit it would be to draw like my entire deck, and it's kind of a liability with Bowmasters. So I'll just get a Force back. All right, and now I'm just going to attack with everything. They may try to deny me a draw, but they're doing so. They're taking 5 for the trouble. I'm just going to pass. Not worried about Mishra's Factory. I can exile cards to give Psychic Frog flying next turn if I need to. They're on like basically a 2-turn clock. This Lorraine Revealed is perfect force pitch fodder if I need to stop something dangerous. They could actually animate Mishra's Factory and attack Tamiyo to death, but they're going to take a ton of damage if they do that because they won't have mana to activate Retrofitter for a chump. Okay, now they have a lot more mana. That makes a big difference in mana. Snaring Bridge. I'm just going to force this. It slows me down quite a bit. It's totally rational to attack into Tamiyo here, but they're choosing not to do it. All right, they have a Retrofitter Thopter that they can potentially use. I'm going to plus here. Play out a land. I don't expect them to have a way to kill... I'm going to attack with everything and see if they want to sack the Mishra's Factory here. I think what they'll do is they'll just create a Thopter token and block one of these. That's fine. Okay, so I get a card. I'm not going to discard. That's a good pickup in case they do have a Bowmasters here. And then I'll pass and they're dead on board. This card takes so much clock. It's crazy. Okay, so this is kind of dangerous because they can nuke my graveyard. Yep, and that's what they're doing. They're drawing a card. So my Nethergoyfs are no longer lethal anymore. I would love for them to put a creature in play that I can just push this turn to be mana efficient. Okay. I'm just going to pay with my non-basics. Okay. We get our draw. It's another Tamiyo, which is not great. I'm going to attack with everything. No, there's no point in attacking with another Nethergoyf right now. Let's attack here and here. And, man, this is going to be a freaking slog. Actually, I should have attacked because I could have just pitched Tamiyo. I'll see if they block. That's fine. So they don't have enough mana to do anything. I'm just going to push this, put something in my graveyard. I should have waited till they blocked, technically, because now they could like animate Factory here if they wanted to. That's fine. Okay, I'll discard both cards here to kill it. And they are just running my clock out like none other. All right, so it doesn't even matter if they pump the Factory here. It's dead. They're welcome to do so. I should have attacked with my Nethergoyfs there. That was bad. Because yeah. So Tamiyo can get back Fatal Push next turn, or we can ultimate. Ultimating may actually not be that bad, but I'm not going to ultimate into a possible Bowmasters. And like they may be holding out hope that I'm dumb enough to do that, but I am very careful with my Tamiyo ultimates. Okay, they conceded. Great. they saved me a lot of time because it would have been like another attack, a bunch of clicking. So I appreciate them not making me play that out. Because playing to the clock against me, if you get queued against me, play to the clock because I have to click on and I think way too much. But as Parker Ikata, Mr. UC, often says, like, I feel like I need to use my whole clock because like a skilled opponent will use their whole clock. Like if you look at chess, the clock is a really important resource. So Orcish Bowmasters goes wide. I kind of like it. It also is a good answer for their Bowmasters. Harbinger of the Sea seems kind of good because it stops their Urza Saga, which is a big part of their winning plan. Consigned to Memory, not that important. Surgical, not that important. Okay, so my opponent disconnected. Hopefully they reconnect and we get to do a proper game 2 and game 3. Cards I don't really care about. I don't think Emperor Bones is going to be very good here. I keep sideboarding that out, but that's really like a Reanimator card. I think Strix is pretty weak on a whole because they're playing so many Bowmasters. I think I boarded out. I don't think the upside of being able to trade profitably with like a removal spell is high enough to compensate for the downside of it being a oh, and we can take these out. So if we take these out, that means I do have a little bit of room to bring things back in. Let's take a look at their sideboard. So they have Chains of Mephistopheles. It's pretty old tech, but reasonably good against us. Torpor Orb, not that powerful against us with this version of the deck. Leyline of the Void is pretty good against us if they get it out, but you know, I just bounce it back to their hand and build up my Goyfs that way. I mean, it affects basically 4 cards in my entire deck. On that note, I do think we take out Murderous Cut. I don't think Murderous Cut is particularly good if they're likely going after my graveyard, and I think they probably will. So bring this in, bring this back in. I mean, Consigned to Memory might actually be good because let's look at their... We can stop Planeswalker abilities. We can stop Karn. We can stop a lot of these cards. Mycosynth Lattice. I kind of want to bring in... Yeah, I don't know. I think just having more threats is fine. This is a good approach. We need to add one more card and submit. I will add a Daze. Even on the draw, like they're sacking a lot of land and stuff, and I might be able to trick them into a situation. And I'm not sure if my opponent reconnected, so they may not have submitted. So I'll just mute and we'll see what happens here. All right, my opponent is back, but they are not taking any game actions. So are they back? I'm not sure. I'll keep you posted. All right, we're back with a... I don't think this is terrible. We have Ponder to look for early land. We have a Force to protect against like Liliana. I'm going to keep this. I wish we had access to basics. I'm going to almost certainly just Island Ponder here. Or I guess Underground Sea Ponder. Uh-oh, they might take our Ponder. I'm going to let them do it. Thoughtseize is not nearly as scary as Grief because Thoughtseize only happens once. Grief just keeps coming back. Miss you, Grief. Not. They did take our Tamiyo, which is a relief because I was really worried about lands above all else. And Ponder will help us find a land. So let's go ahead and do this. They're probably going to waste this land. Okay. This is great. So I'll just get my Nethergoyf next turn in case they Thoughtseize again. Because Nethergoyf is going to be really key here. Psychic Frog is good as well. Don't get me wrong. Wasteland. So Nethergoyf it is. Expedition map. I wouldn't be surprised if they look for another Wasteland here if they don't have one already. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play out the Nethergoyf with the hope that they don't have both. Well, actually, I will counter removal on Nethergoyf because my hope is to ride Nethergoyf to victory. It's going to hit for 3 here. Once I force something, it's going to be hitting for 4. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so we just need to stop removal on Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf is our sole... I mean, in a way, it's kind of good because this really simplifies what we need to do here. I'm going to play this out in case they have expedition map for... in case they go and get whatever it's called, Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale, then I'll have a mana to tap. And also, if they waste my waste, that's all right with me. Eventually, I will find my basics. So we've drawn through our ponder, and we're drawn wild. Mishra's Factory. I'm not going to go after that. If they want to trade, that's fine. I'm just going to keep pressuring them. I'm aware that I could pressure them more if I force something, but they haven't put anything worth forcing on the stack. All right, here comes the Tabernacle. Wasteland. Wasteland would be bad because I would just waste their Mishra's Factory. Maze of Ith. Okay, well, I have a Wasteland for Maze of Ith, and I will waste that. So if you're walking me into a Tabernacle, you're doing a good job. Urza Saga. I mean, I kind of think that, well, that's something I can't really deal with. I am going to go ahead and hit that. So you have succeeded in getting me to pitch one of my mini Psychic Frogs here. Nethergoyf is bigger. 3 turns. That is a good card in the matchup, but it's not a great card here. I need to hold my Wasteland for Maze of Ith. Like, I can't get stalled out at the last, on the home stretch. I just need to keep attacking through these Urza Saga creatures. It'll be interesting to see what they get with the Urza Saga thing. But, I mean, this is a testament to the power of Nethergoyf. I've cast... Uh-oh. Yeah, they have a second one, huh? Well, they do have 4 cards in hand, so I am going to be able to attack again, unless they have a Mox. Oh, no! All right, well, it was a good run. We did our best. This is no longer going to cut it. That is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've lost, but I'm just going to wait. There's no urgent rush here. I can take another minute or so. I'm just going to F6 here. Oh, wait, I can't F6 because I want to waste if they waste me. Let's see what they get. We're learning a little more about their deck. They probably get the Retrofitter Foundry. That seems like a really good card here because it can just create 1/1s and attack through. Yeah, by telegraphing that they're going to get Maze of Ith, they basically stopped me from... Yeah, there we go. There is hope that they somehow don't waste me or that I draw basic, so I'm going to hold on to that hope. Okay, there's our token. And they can level that up if they want. They do have 3. No, they don't have enough mana to level it up this turn. And fetch land. I will force anything good that they put on the stack here. I do have Brazen Borrower for a Retrofitter Foundry, but that's like a multi-turn line to get there. We're not... Oh yeah, we do have to discard here. I think the discard is Psychic Frog. It's just not going to be a part. I'm going to just... I mean, like, they may use up a lot of clock. I think this game is over. I'm just going to start F6ing because it's going to take them a long time to kill me, and their clock is almost as low as mine. Yeah, there's no coming back from this. They'll know that I'm F6 when they waste me, and I don't do anything. All right. I think we just pass now, and we have Bowmasters up. Bowmasters is pretty terrible. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should be doing here. I think I'm going to ponder to try to find another land. They only have 1 Wasteland showing. Okay. So we can take... Yeah, we'll draw both of these. Bobble will make Nethergoyf bigger in case we can eventually resolve a Brazen Borrower. It's also worth noting that like a lot of their utility lands get shut off. If they somehow tap out a Wasteland, I might just... Like if, heaven forbid, like I have a turn where I can cast Harbinger of the Sea, I will cast it. And yeah. But I think they're going to be doing end step, servo shenanigans and stuff. I seriously doubt they're going to let me have a turn cycle with this land in play. That would be shocking overconfidence. They have 4 cards in hand. If they don't cast something out, I will attack here. I'm trying to think of why they wouldn't cast something here. Smallpox, I'm going to force that. I definitely could have pitched Psychic Frog there instead. Yep, and that was expected. So we're going to have a land this turn. They don't have a card in hand. So Nethergoyf technically makes this even bigger. Liliana is going to be pretty brutal. If they minus, I can Bowmaster and ping her and just sack the creature though, so it's not that bad. I probably need to fetch the basic swamp here. They're coming in with their flying creatures. That's fine. I'll take it. I'm hoping that by playing this game out, I'm not like running my clock too low for game 3, but I feel like there might be a path back in. I think they're minus here. And I think Bowmasters completely blows them out if they do minus. All right, let's do it. I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine. All right, and I will sack the orc. Now I need to draw land. I need to draw... See, I've got 12 life. They don't have that much inbound. That is a great rip. Check this out. I'm going to go Strix, which will trade with one of their flyers. Yeah, I think that's the right play. Psychic Frog would be good too, but I want the card immediately, and I want to find another land. Fatal Push does help. Yeah, I'm just going to let them continue to build their army up. I'll trade where I can. Get F6 here. Save clock. I will block one. So let's think about this. So let's say hypothetically we do double waste. That's dangerous. I'm not worried about them castle lock waiting because that will... yeah, that's fine. I'm going to just hit that as well. Do I want to hit castle lock waiting? I think I hit the factories because those are win conditions. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and attack. Okay, they're just making a servo. So pushing this doesn't make any sense. Attacking doesn't make any sense. I think what I do here is I just play Psychic Frog. And you may say, like, that was a bad play because what if they do go get Tabernacle? If they get Tabernacle, the answer is I'm just going to concede. I'm not going to try to fight against Tabernacle because it'll just take up so much time with triggers. Okay, let's just F6 here. I'm going to F6 again. If I find... Like, a lot of their win cons are... Well, I mean, they already have win cons on board. They can win with these. I can jump the frog. Block. Oh, thank you. Thanks. I'll be out in a little bit, okay? I'm recording. Chief's Thirst. Yeah. They're attacking for 3 here. If I find a if I find a Brazen Borrower, like that flips the script. They can always create 4/4s. But that does take a lot of time on their clock. And okay, Innocent Blood. I am going to sacrifice this. They do have the Maze of Ith now. So I kind of like almost... I'm just going to concede. This is going to take too long. All right. I could have made them play it out. They're still a minute and a half ahead of me. What I need to do is just roll in with Overwhelming Force here. Okay, so Dazes are coming back in. They were making pretty aggressive use of their mana. I do think Daze will matter. I'm almost tempted to bring in Force Negation just because I had so many cards in my hand the entire game. Now Spellbomb, these cards don't matter. I don't think Consign to Memory is great. It does stop a Saga trigger, but it's pretty weak. It is worth noting that with these pitch spells, we are going to run our hand pretty low. I mean, they're also probably holding back mana till end step, so maybe Daze isn't the greatest. Yeah, I think I don't play Daze. Harbinger of the Seas, it feels like it's going to be hard to actually get that out. Yeah, I think we run it like this. And we're going to try to hold a hand that has another Nethergoyf, a Force, some other aggressive cards. I'll play here. So we are the aggressor. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. And I'm just going to Tamiyo, and then I will flip her next turn off these baubles. Actually, I don't think that's correct. I think what I want to do is I want to ponder first. This is great. This is amazing. So I will just keep all these. I won't necessarily keep the... I'm going to cast these out just in case they have some sort of weird Chalice of the Void thing. But what I can do is instep crack them during their turn. Actually, I should have cracked it during upkeep. Uh-oh. They may take Tamiyo here. They may get scared and take Harbinger. Orcish Bowmaster is really good against them, by the way, because a lot of their removal is like sacrifice a creature type removal. So Orcish Bowmaster like insulates himself from that. If they don't take Tamiyo, I will 100% flip her next turn, though, because I know that their deck is pretty weak to Planeswalkers. Okay, they took Tamiyo. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. Do it again. Okay. Now I'm going to get 3 cards. All right. I think we play this out and we just pass. Oh, wait. We get a card. We get another card. All right. That's a good card. I want to pass. And Harbinger of the Sea will do some serious work against them. We won't have access to black mana, though. So that is a reason to probably pitch this to force rather than use it. It's fine. Actually, was that fine? Maybe that was the force. I'm going to end step, get my Underground Sea, and I'm going to Bowmasters. Unfortunately, like, cutting them off black mana does not stop them from being able to use Retrofitter Foundry. We don't actually have a way to remove that in our deck. So I do think that was a huge punt, not going after that. So the question is, can they get up to 4/4 before we can win? I think it's worth cutting them off black here. I'm gonna go for it. All right, we're gonna attack. So we are mono blue for the rest of the game. Most of our best win conditions are not mono blue. All they can really do is try to tech up toward like a pretty big Thopter Foundry across like 3 turns. Their wastelands are off. Their Mishra's factories are off. They do have a basic swamp though. They may somehow have like a target removal to remove my Harbinger. We're 1 turn away from actually Lorien Revealing, which is pretty good. I'm going to keep attacking in and doing damage. And if they want to play the Thopter out just to block and trade, that's fine with me. Yeah, that's fine. The smart thing to do would actually be trade with the Orc army itself, unless they think they're going to be drawing cards, because the Orc army could grow when I find another Bowmaster later. All right, and they're just letting it through, which is great. So they are planning to take up toward a 4/4, which could be a problem. Maze of Ith is off. Tabernacle's off. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that I didn't force the Thopter Foundry. But if I had, I wouldn't be in the situation where their lands are off. Psychic Frog, another card I can't cast, unfortunately. I'm just going to keep attacking. If they are able to remove the Harbinger, that actually unlocks my deck. They may double block. Okay, they're just teching up. That's fine. That doesn't really... Oh, yeah, they can tap that to make the 4/4. Okay, yeah, I forgot how much mana it costs to do that. My bad. All right, and they're just going for that, so they're taking another 3. They're hoping to race me. We'll see whether the strategy works for them. Yeah, okay, yes. So every other turn, they're going to be able to create a construct here. Okay, now it's even faster. So they could technically 3 tap, so they could create 2 this turn. I'm hoping they do, because I really want to just play this Nethergoyf out. Nethergoyf will be the belle of the ball. She'll be by far the biggest on the table. 3 untap. They're just going to trade. Dark Writ. Okay. All right. They're going to use the Dark Writ mana to create another 4/4. That does work, and I did not interact with that because I secretly want them to kill my Harbinger. Even though it will unlock their factory. I think Nethergoyf is going to be huge. It's going to be a 4/5. And it'll successfully tango with all their stuff that they got going on here. So they're just taking 1. Now they're sacking it. So they're not taking it. Yeah, they're just taking the 1. Yeah, I think we hold. They are going to be able to attack me for 5 here potentially. But if I can find another land, Lorien Revealed is going to unlock a lot, including potentially a Brazen Borrower, which would be really good here. Brazen Borrower could remove that. Do combat tricks. All right, I'm just going to attack. If they want to take 3, they can take 3. Do they have me dead on the crackback? They don't technically have me dead quite yet on the crackback, but if they have a small pox... Okay, they're just blocking that. Interesting. So they are intending to lock me under. And this is pretty good, actually, because I can't force without dying here. Oh, and they can create 1 more and they can have lethal here. Yeah, I didn't see that. They just outplayed me, frankly. I tunnel visioned on this, locking them out so much. Had I forced this, the game would have gone completely differently, but I wouldn't have had this in hand if I had forced. And clearly, in retrospect, that was the line. So I'm just going to concede. And yeah, that was an embarrassing loss. I feel like we're very favored in this matchup with all the cards, and I think I beat myself. No shade to my opponent, but I feel like I beat myself by not forcing the Retrofitter Foundry. That was a game-losing punt and a match-losing punt. Well, we're 1-1. Let's hope that rounds 3, 4, and 5 bring a lot of other action. And I do think that the first 2 games of that set were really interesting and interactive. And, I intuitively kind of hold my force. I'm like, is it worth forcing a 1-drop? Well, in that case, it definitely was. So, yeah, lesson learned. All right, let's go. We're against Necrofoon. Necrofoon. I'm like a typhoon. Necrofoon. Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at his name, their name, but it is kind of a silly name. A wave of death. A tsunami of death. Okay. They are likely on Grixis Delver. They could be on Doomsday, but most recently they've been playing Delver. I think we're kind of favored in this matchup because we have Emperor of Bones. We have pretty good mana base with basics, something they don't have usually. So I think here we take the conservative play of pondering for another land. Wow, they're going to 5 cards. Okay, if they are on Doomsday, we have a Force of Will hand, which is going to be great. Let's go ahead and ponder here. Wow. Yeah, that sucks. This does happen a lot on the channel. Not completely screwed here. But it does suck because we just basically told our opponent, please wasteland me. Yep, and that's precisely what they're going to do here. Okay, so I'm going to go get a basic island like a coward here, and then I'm going to put Tamiyo on the stack. All right. Yeah, I still think playing Tamiyo is correct. Just to, have some forward pressure. I mean, we are on the play, and we are kind of an aggressive deck, even though when we're on the play, we're definitely more of a tempo deck than a control deck. Nethergoyf, man, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how good that card is when you have the mana to play him out, and he's not held back by the... okay, what is this? I don't think we protect this because I don't want to get blown up by days. If I hold my force, it'll be a lot more relevant later because we are going to be able to tech up. Now, I've learned over the years that you don't want to... I think what we do here, we Undercity Sewer first. And now... Yeah, I think it's fine because I'm going to go get my swamp next turn. And then I'll have a wasteland. But I'm not going to waste them. Because I've just found... I've wasted Delver too many times where I'm like, I'm going to screw them off their color. And then they proceeded to, just devastate me. This is a card that I would like to force. However, I can borrow it back. They have 2 card types. It gives them selection. Okay, let's think about this. This is an important call. So we can force now, and we don't have to worry about... but I feel like saving force for something like a Murktide is probably better, but the Murktide will not really be particularly scary when it arrives if they don't have the DRC to begin with. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hope to draw removal, and 2 turns from now I can borrow it back to hand. If it's while it's attacking, and then I can even cast out Borrower as a potential trade. I think we'll get a lot of tempo that way. Let's see what we draw. A 1-drop would be great. Daze is not bad. I think we go ahead and cast Emperor of Bones because we can Daze to protect. We can take that Bolt out of their yard and get them further away from Delirium. Okay, they're forcing, which is great. So now I'm going to let this resolve first, just in case they put something even tastier in the graveyard. Okay, another wasteland to the graveyard. That's fine. Yeah. I will bounce this. Okay, we resolved. We go to combat. I think this card is going to be really good in this matchup. Trigger. Let's get rid of the Lightning Bolt. I don't want them to Tamiyo recur that. Okay, and we'll pass. We've made our land drop. They may be able to bolt this. We don't think that they have Daze in hand since they forced. They could have drawn Daze for turn. So, options. We could borrow this back and then waste them, and that gets rid of it. I think where the game is right now, though, I'm just going to force this. It is a card that I respect. And they have a 1/1. We have a 2/2 that's going to become a 4/4 and potentially put a Psychic Frog on the table for a turn. I think that's going to be this turn. Oh, yeah. We're about to see the power. All right. Let's adapt. Oh, wait. Let's attack first. So we go to combat. Begin combat. We're going to exile the Psychic Frog. Okay. And now attack. Oh, unfortunately, I think I can't now adapt. I screwed up. If I adapt now, I won't be able to get the Psychic Frog into play. So I have to wait till next turn. That was a punt. Not like a huge punt. I mean, but if they bolt this now, if they bolt, then I can adapt, but I won't be able to get the Psychic Frog bonus. I think I do need to hold up mana to adapt instead of pondering here, just in case that becomes relevant. Adapting it to get it out of bolt range is worth doing, even if it means losing the ability to get a Psychic Frog attack in. Okay, they conceded. So we didn't get punished. Our opponent was probably annoyed that we didn't properly execute that. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to play against this fool. You know, sometimes that you get kind of that happening. So we're bringing in Hydroblast. Hydroblast is quite good here. I don't think Orcish Bowmasters comes in. I don't think we what do we take out? I think we just take out our forces. Forces is pretty bad here. And if we're taking out our forces, we could bring in a Bowmaster. I don't think we have any better options. I don't think Harbinger of the Seas is worth playing against them. All right, so we're going to do this. Is there anything else we take out? I don't think so. Yeah, I think our deck is very well positioned against theirs. All right, let's dive in here. All right, we're on the draw with this hand that is a Nethergoyf hand with Fatal Push. We can go basic island, but that doesn't help us play out our cards, but we're going to keep this. I think it'd be foolish to throw this back. It's a double land hand, and we need lands. That's like the main thing we need in the matchup. It's a scary opener. We do have the ability to Fatal Push it, but I don't want to play into Daze, and I don't actually have a Daze of my own to protect. That is a very good draw. Okay, so this... I think what we do is we play out Wasteland. Is there any reason? So we're going to Island Cycle end step. And then after we've Island Cycled, I think it makes sense to fetch and we can have Island out, or we'll have Wasteland out. Yeah, because we'll just put the island in our hand, but we'll actually play the Underground Sea, and that'll deter them from wasting us because we'll already have Daze Protection. And this is also a land or a sorcery to feed the Nethergoyf. The most scary thing they could do is just like get this up to Delirious this turn. Psychic Frog is not a huge concern if they do Psychic Frog here. That would be wild. I guess I don't have... Yeah, there's Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog can actually discard cards and make her Delirious immediately if they want to. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Lorien Revealed. I kind of almost want to get Underground Seas because I know we're going to need to use them. I don't think we have the luxury of playing on basics right now. Yeah, so I'm going to get an Underground Sea. Wow. Now, having drawn that, I do feel like we can start with a Fatal Push here. And then I think I'm going to cut them off red. Red is their more important color for casting like Pyroblast and stuff like that. And they're quite likely going to Wasteland me, and then we'll be in a, taking hits from Dragon Rage Chandler for a few turns, but eventually we will dig out of that. There's definitely an argument for just holding back and being able to Bowmaster next turn around Daze. So they're going to have 3 types in the yard, and I do think this is likely going to get Delirious here. What I'll do, though, is I will play out... I'll fetch basics. Okay, that's good, because that's not a... okay, wow. I'm really tempted to... If I draw a Daze, I will Bowmaster. But I don't think it's correct to Bowmaster into... Because, well, they brainstorm, so they're definitely going to flip this. Daze is a 4th type. So our window to Bowmasters is definitely shrinking, but I'd be amazed if they didn't keep a Daze in their hand. So I think the play is just to go for the basic. Go for the basic Nethergoyf. We take 6. Let's see. If Orcish Bowmasters is not dazed, we probably win. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it. And I do regret wasting them last turn. Again, my whole don't waste Elver thing. I broke my own one rule. All right, let's go get a swamp. And let's get dazed. It's just the upside of this resolving is just too high. Yep, there's the daze. And the good news is that's going to be Nethergoyf food. We would have had a Nethergoyf out to attack next turn, but that's not really going to be a game-winning play anyway. I think Emperor Bones comes down next turn, and maybe we double spell. We Nethergoyf and Emperor Bones if they don't waste us here. Yeah, there we go. We're taking 6. Emperor Bones can take them off Delirium, which can reduce the clock slightly, but we're not favored at all. So I took my high risk, high reward play, and yeah, got punished. I think it was probably a 25% chance that it resolved, but if it resolved, it would have been, game breaking. All right. Wasteland's not a good draw here. I think I go get Island, and then I Emperor and I Nether, and then they'll have to fly the Frog, which might cause them to lose Delirium. Yeah, I'm just not going to risk getting wasted from here. I think Emperor is more important of the two. If they have Force as their last card, we are dead. But they don't. I'm going to go ahead and play out Nethergoyf now. If they have Daze their last card, we're not necessarily dead, but we are in a very tight spot. Yep, there's the Daze. The good news is we do have Brainstorm next turn to potentially find a path of salvation, but I don't think it's going to be forthcoming. Eventually we can bring Nethergoyf back. So I'm going to take Delver out of their yard. It's not going to do anything. I have to take Ponder. Ponder's their sorcery. So that shrinks. That at least temporarily shrinks Dragon Rage Chandler, if I'm reading this correctly. Okay. And now DRC, they might be able to do some trick where they attack in with DRC and buff it with they wouldn't be able to instant speed buff it, but they might be able to, if they know what their top card is, they might be able to Ponder, and I think most likely they're going to have a Fatal Push for my Emperor anyway. Chain Lightning would be insane tech here to kill me and to get rid of it. See, they have 3 cards, so 1, 2, 3. So they could, if they can get this Delirious, they can kill me this turn. All right, that does trigger the thing. If they can put a Ponder in the graveyard, we're dead. Okay, Stifle, that's good to know about. Yeah, I'm feeling super dead. They get a card, so that's card advantage for them. Next turn, they will be able to potentially cast the Brazen Borrower, so I'll have to deal with that as well. I think the best draw for me is probably a Fatal Push. Bowmasters would still play, but we don't have any Bowmasters actually. All right, we got to get rid of these flyers. Double Fatal Push might work. So Tamiyo won't flip this turn. I can flip her next turn, but we're not going to get the ability. I'm trying to think if there's any path to survival here. Because we have to get rid of Psychic Frog. That much is clear. We probably also have to get rid of... So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this back. It's just too slow. I'm going to put Tamiyo back. Well, I'll put Wasteland back. Wasteland's terrible here. Okay, now I'm going to fetch. The only way that we survive is we brainstorm and we find double Fatal Push or something like that. That is one Fatal Push and that's one Hydroblast. Actually, this is basically what I was asking for. So I'm going to put this on top. I'm going to put this on top. We're going to take 3. Brutal. I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. I think that it's highly likely that they can just stop me here. Hydroblast. By the way, a Bolt and I'm dead because they're going to hit me for 3 here. So for the rest of the game, I'm going to be basically trying to dodge bolts. Next turn, I will have Tamiyo, but I won't have the ability to flip her. I'll have Psychic Frog, which can jump in front of this, though, and it will be able to stop it. But if they have one more land, they can cast Brazen Borrower. It doesn't look like they found it, but they might have found a Daze or a Bolt or something here. Some form of interaction. Okay, yeah, so Brazen Borrower is coming out next turn. So we are definitely casting this to survive. Trying to think if there's anything that we can do in the air other than just cast her and chump with her. So we'll go blue-black. Psychic Frog's coming out. They could have a Pyro for this. And then I'm going to play this out. If I play this out, the best I can hope for is trading with this. I no longer have a path to... So basically, chumping here, trading here. We can adapt at instant speed. So we could play this. We could exile a flyer, and then we could trade. Okay, yeah, this is like some sort of death spell. Oh, no, wait. They're just casting the Brazen Borrower. Okay. So far, everything is proceeding according to our terrible plan, clinging to survival. I wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have 15 minutes on the clock. Okay, and here's the red mana that kills us. I'm going to concede. All right, that was a good game. I don't regret going for that Bowmaster. Hindsight is 2020, and I mean, you can't always play like they have days. Like, Orcish Bowmaster resolving there would have been such a windfall, such a coup, right? And I feel like sometimes when a play is so impactful that if you play scared, we knew that the Delver was going to flip. We knew that that they were one card away from Delirium. So what I was going to do was, assuming they didn't have days, I was going to poke the DRC. Assuming that they did have days, there's nothing to be done. And then we'd just have a single Delver to deal with, and they wouldn't have the enabler and the card selection in DRC. So I'm keeping my deck exactly the same. They may change their deck, having seen Orcish Bowmasters, but I doubt it. I think what they're likely going to do is they're going to have all their days. They're going to have all their days, maybe some combination of days in and out. I can't keep a Surveil in hand. Let's mulligan this. This is quite good. I think what we do is we just open... Probably going to open Swamp, Nile Spellbomb. I'll open Island, Nile Spellbomb. That way they have to think about days. And realistically, I'm probably not going to cast days. Let's put this back. I think it's good to have the selection lands instead. So we're going to go ahead and get our island here. And we're going to play the Nile Spellbomb. This insulates us at least a turn from them, killing Nethergoyf. Because now we'll have the ability, if they try to bolt, to put different card types in the graveyard and save Nethergoyf from death. That's fine. That is the kind of start we want to see from them, by the way. Oh, this is good too. Yeah, I think we go ahead and we play this out. I'm going to get the Swamp. I am going to be taking myself off being able to draw a card off Nile Spellbomb if I use it here, and I don't want to use it this early in the game anyway. So instead, I'm going to play with this Mishra's Bauble. I think it's good to go ahead and do it now. This goes ahead and buffs. Okay, they got a Murktide. It's definitely worth knowing about. Don't let me forget that. Audience, I'm so bad about forgetting like 10 turns later. I'm going to just write Murktide here. I'll use this chatbot text field. Okay, we got a Wasteland, which may be good, may not. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to... Daze. This Daze is reserved for Psychic Frog. Who knows? It might be able to keep them off Murktide. This might be the rare situation where I do waste Delver. So wasting and then exiling their graveyard does get them farther away from their goal, and it also removes 3 types of land or 3 types of cards from their graveyard for the purposes of beating back Delirium. They're taking a long time to ponder here or to brainstorm here. Okay, hopefully they get a Valk, and then I can waste that Valk. Okay, so the question is, do I want to daze this? I'm not doing anything next turn as far as I can tell right now. We can keep it small, but it will gradually grow the graveyard back. I think I'm going to daze here, and I'm going to plan to waste them off red. Okay, and now our Nethergoyf is bigger, which is important. I'm going to see if I can get a little more information about what they have over there. If their top card is a land, for example, it may not make sense to waste them. Their top card is a Mishra's Bauble. Well, I'm glad I went after. Yeah, I am going to hit here. I think I'm just going to go in and I'm going to save my Nihilus Bubble and probably instep it. Because this is not like some important card in the matchup. Actually, if they untap, they could just get us. Like if they have a land with Murktide, I think I am going to go ahead and exile their graveyard now. All right, wow. We've got a lot of lands in hand. That's not good. We need a Brainstorm pretty badly. But I feel like we've done a lot of damage to them. Fatal Push would be pretty devastating if they find a Fatal Push. Another Nethergoyf is great. I don't think they are likely to have anything that interacts with our graveyard. So they've seen whatever our top card is. Island Cycling. Okay, this is good because we do have pressure on them and they're basically using a turn to go get a card. Also worth noting that even though Murktide is kind of on the way, like their threats don't really line up. Or their counter, like their Pyroblast don't line up with a heavy Nethergoyf start. So what I'm going to do now is I do want to get a Surveil land. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. Oh, I should have played out the Nethergoyf because if it got countered, I would get extra damage. I'm going to assume they're not going to be able to counter it. I'm going to feel really dumb if they do counter it. Okay, good. All right, so I think they're going to probably try to churn very quickly toward being able to get a Murktide out. What is this? Bolt on us? That is totally fine. They're just trying to put stuff in their graveyard because they want a Murktide. And I am very happy that that bolt was aimed at me and not at, say a frog or get a frog in play next turn. We'll see what I hit off the Surveil. Wasteland. Psychic Frog. All right. So Psychic Frog is very powerful against us. I'm going to Surveil. Another Nethergoyf. Well, oops, all Nethergoyfs. I think we keep it. All right. Here's the question. First of all, I'm almost certain we're playing out of land. I'm trying to think of why we wouldn't play out a Delta here. It is damage to ourselves. We don't have a second Surveil land. There could be a situation where we do need to fetch later. Okay. So I'm going to start by casting a Nethergoyf. If they counter it, that's great. They didn't counter it. Okay. So, options. One, we attack. They dump like their entire hand, basically. They'd have to dump a lot of cards. They don't know what we have in our hand. We could have a Fatal Push. They dump a lot of cards. They are going to be able to Murktide next turn. If they Murktide, they can attack for a bunch and Murktide us, and we won't necessarily be able to kill them on the crackback because they're going to have a defender. This is a tough spot, actually, because they could pitch everything but the Murktide, and they could take out one of our Nethergoyfs, and then they can attack, and then we're definitely dead to Murktide. Like, there's no question about it. So I'm trying to figure out if we win by holding back. If we win by holding back, they can't attack with Psychic Frog without dumping a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so let's just do the math. We do 3 here. One of our things. Next turn, we do 3 again. 6. And we've lost 2 Nethergoyfs. I don't think it's worth attacking. Yeah, I'm going to just chill. And leave a comment if you think that this is too passive, but I feel like it is a mistake to make them pitch their hand and to attack into this. They don't know what's in our hand, but I would much rather them spend a turn like putting counters on Psychic Frog and yes, they are going to be able to. What we really need is we just need a draw. We need to draw an answer to this. That's fine. I'm going to float. I'll float black to make them think that I have Fatal Push. Okay, and now I'm going to let them burn it off, and they're going to think, oh, now I can daze my Fatal Push. I shouldn't pitch my daze to Psychic Frog. Okay, they didn't attack. This is great for us. So we basically bought a turn. They don't have enough stuff in their graveyard to Murktide now, but they might discard something and then Murktide. That's what they're thinking about most likely. If we could find like a Baleful Strix, that would be insane here. Even if they counter it, it's insane. Okay, so they are going to cast Murktide here. Murktide is going to be a 6/6. We're dead in basically 2 attacks. They don't have anything to exile to Psychic Frog though, but they can make it bigger by pitching stuff. All right, so we've already used... I don't think we fetched the Thin. I think that's a fool's errand. Also, this life might be important. This doesn't help us here. We already have instant in our graveyard. All right, here I think is the game plan. We play the island out. They're going to attack for potentially lethal. Then we can attack back. But we need another card. Like the cards we currently have don't do it. And it's hard to admit, but like attacking in is not going to get us where we want to go. It's wishful thinking. Magical thinking, even. It's crazy to me that this is only turn 6. Like these tempo on tempo games are so compressed. They should attack here. Yeah, I figured they would. Yeah, if we lose, this is going to be a bummer. But we did draw like a ton of land. A Brainstorm cracks this open. We can even protect Brainstorm with a Hydroblast. Okay. Can we get a different land type here? That's pretty good. Okay. It's not good enough though. So we're dead on the crackback. We're dead no matter what. So let's say hypothetically we Lorien revealed here. We're going to be able to buff, but they can discard cards and then they can attack for lethal. So we've lost. It's deterministic in my opinion. Our options. We can Lorien revealed. I think we attack with everything and then we Lorien revealed to surprise them. But it's not going to matter. Because I'm going to attack with everything and they should block. It would be foolish not to block. But this is like our desperate play. If they don't block, then we can still win. They might be thinking, what can they put into the graveyard that is sorcerer, that is a different type that they can do at instant speed? They don't have a discard outlet. Oh, yeah, they did it. They're not dumb enough to fall for it here. I'm still going to do it. They don't know what's in our hand. They may be loath to pitch their entire hand. All right, let's see how many cards they want to pitch here. Should pitch enough to keep it alive because it's a win con here. They may just think, I've got a bolt. I don't need to do this. But it's good to put, like, that's one of the reasons I don't like tempo decks. Like, not to be a sore loser because I just lost, but it was a very close match. But this is one reason I don't like tempo decks. Holy cow. Holy cow, let's go. Okay, there's still a chance. There is still a chance. All right. I am going to play this out. I don't think there's any benefit in not playing it out. And we do have Hydroblast. They could have second Murktide, but no, that's not going to help them. I mean, we may win this. We may. That is going to be a Hydroblast for me, bruh. Okay. Do you have another bolt? They can't even turtle up now. They have to do something here. But they have a lot of bolts in their deck. They used 2. They bolted me earlier in the game, I think. So they still have two bolts and 41 cards. They have card selection. If they have another, okay, we're just going to take it. All right. Let's see what they draw. If they draw a bolt, we're dead. They may wait until lethal damage is on the stack for style points. We did it. Be Excellent wins the game. Holy cow. That was insane. That was a great game. And it was all about, like, I was like, we're deterministically dead if they don't punt. But they punted. But, I mean, they may not have known that we had a Hydroblast. So I'm not, no shade at all to my opponent. I think my opponent played excellently. But ultimately, like, we were dead. Like, all they had to do was discard a couple cards and attack us. And it would have been game, right? In fact... Yeah, I mean, like, they knew that we had Bowmasters, so it was correct to block there. But even discarding 1 or 2 cards would have been, enough. Wow. So we're 2-1. That was definitely one of the most exciting games I played in a long time. And I feel like we played very carefully. I think there was some punt that I'll undoubtedly, like, somebody's already commented on, like, a punt I made during that match that could have made it a little easier for me to win. Please leave your comments with timestamps and things that you see that I'm doing that I can improve. It's super duper helpful. I read every comment. I try to respond to every comment, and I will never shoot the messenger and be like, yeah, whatever. You weren't there. You didn't have the limited information. No, like, I am always going to be introspective and err on the side of blaming myself for a different place. I genuinely believe my favorite legacy player of all time, Andrea Mengucci, right? I guess I could say my favorite Magic player of all time. This guy is just an amazing human being, super chill. And he has this saying that, and he's not just a legacy player. He's like, Pro Tour. He's like famous Magic player. But he has this saying, legacy is a very complicated format. And if you lost, it's usually because you made a mistake. Because if you're assuming you're playing a tier deck, which what we're playing is, a slight variant, like maybe 5 cards off of what the optimized list is. Assuming you're playing a tier deck and you didn't just get completely, mana screwed or mana flooded, which we kind of got mana flooded that game, and we still managed to pull the W, right? Then you probably made mistakes if you lost. There were probably mistakes made somewhere along the line because every little decision matters so much. Anyway, I'll stop waxing philosophical. We'll jump to round 4. All right, we're back against likely Enchantress, which is a deck that I used to play back in the day. I had like beta. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this hand. It's quick, it's interactive. It has a Psychic Frog. Yeah, I'll keep this. I used to play this back in the day, and I actually had beta Wild Growths. And I gave them to my friend after my friend picked up Enchantress and I was done with it. I was losing to a lot of fast combo decks and stuff. Part of my evolution, becoming a blue player and accepting that, you want to play decks that are reasonably well positioned against everything. I think we can use our mana efficiently. We don't need to worry about days in this matchup. I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to start. They could be playing Blood Moon, so I don't think it hurts to respect Blood Moon. I'll just start with Island. Well, let's see what they're going to draw here. I don't think there's any reason to hold this. Let's just get a look at their cards. Vexing Bubble. Okay, that's good to know about. I think we just open Island, and assuming they don't play out that Vexing Bubble before they play other stuff, we could force... Do we want to force Vexing Bubble? I think we just want to shuffle Force away. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to play out this Now Spellbomb just for momentum. And we'll pass. Now Spellbomb doesn't do anything against their deck, I don't think. So I suspect they're going to play out Vexing Bobble before they do anything else. And then our Force Wills are going to be turned off for the rest of the game. Daze is not necessarily turned off, but it's not great against them if they do that. Yeah, and I don't want to go down 2 cards to stop this. I'm just going to shuffle this Force Will back. Okay, great. They didn't have a turn 2 play. I am worried about Elephant Grass. That's a very powerful card right now. I think what I do... I think we do want to get Psychic Frog and we can shuffle away Vexing Bubble next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and get a Swamp here. Again, they're playing Basics, which does tell me like back to Basics or Blood Moon could be on the menu for this match. All right. O-Ring is a card they play. They probably play Plow. Enchantress is really strong. The match is going to be a lot better game 2 because we're going to have access to Orcish Bowmasters, which is extremely strong against their deck. Another Enchantress. Wow. Okay. They've got their engine running. They only have 2 cards in hand, but they can, they're probably enchantments, which are going to start, yielding them additional draws. All right. So I'm going to start by brainstorming here. I just want to get rid of these counterspells that suck. All right, and I think no point in wasting them. I don't think it's good use of our time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get an Underground Sea, and I'm probably going to play a second Psychic Frog. I will attack before I do that. I don't think they block. So, yeah. Oops, all frogs. We're going to keep them coming and just see if they can keep up with our card advantage. It's worth noting that there are lots of cards. They might be playing Solitary Confinement. They might be playing Elephant Grass, which is just like a nightmare. I mean, to be playing Enchantress right now, you've got to have 4 Elephant Grasses in your deck. I just think it would be a huge mistake not to do that. Okay, so they're gaining life and they're drawing cards here. This is an enchantment creature, so it triggers the Argothian Enchantresses. I mean, it's crazy that like 3 Psychic Frogs cannot keep up. I don't even know what this is. Oh, Enchantress is present. Now they're going to draw 4 cards every. Yeah, we're not gonna win this. This doesn't have Shroud though, so we can hit this. But it's like they're going to draw 4 cards here. I think I'm just going to F6 and like see how they win. So they're discarding 2 cards because they went from like 2 cards in hand that turn to discarding 2 cards. All right, so I'm going to play this out. I'm going to Fatal Push this. All right, I'm going to attack with both of these. I don't pitch cards to them. We may need these cards. Draw. Okay. They actually haven't. Did they play a land list? Yeah, I think they played the basic for us. I don't think playing land is where we want to be. I'm just going to Psychic Frog again. And if they put another Wing Con on the stack, I will be ready to push it. But I don't think... Did we play out a land? Yeah. Yeah, we played out a land, I think. So, good. So we're drawing a lot of cards, but we're not drawing it nearly as many as they are. Because like literally every card in their deck is an Ancestral Recall at this point. Wild Growth. I'm just going to F6. I'll un-F6 if they put something on the stack that I can kill. But these have Shroud. This is not even a creature. Now all their enchantments have Shroud, so their enchantment creatures have Shroud. So this Fatal Push probably isn't going to do anything here. I'm just going to keep talking so that it'll keep recording so you can see just how crazy this deck is. It's a really fun deck. It's sometimes called solitaire because it almost feels like you're playing by yourself because your turns take so long. Okay, so they do have Helm combo. Oh, let's concede. Let's concede before they see my deck. I hope they don't see my deck. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm not sure whether they get to see my deck here. They got to see my deck. Okay. Well, whoopsie. I don't think it'll make too big of a difference because what they didn't see is they didn't see freaking Bowmasters coming in, tearing it up. I don't think any of these other cards make sense. I'm not going to board negations in against a known Vexing Bubble matchup, but I'm not at the same time. I'm not going to take them out. I think Murderous Cook comes out. But Emperor Bones, I don't think does anything against them. Consign to Memory can counter Helm, but that's like the least of our worries. Nethergoyf is really bad against Rest in Peace, but I don't imagine we're going to win through that. I imagine what we're going to do is we're going to win through sticking Orcish Bowmasters. Daze is still alive. I don't know that I board out Daze. I think Fatal Push is what we board out. Like they do have creatures in their deck, but most of them have Shroud. Yeah, I mean this is pretty vanilla, pretty uninspiring. It was great in the Delver matchup though. Yeah, it's just not good in this matchup. So let me know in the comments if you think that I sideboarded incorrectly here, and always feel free to like put a timestamp and point out like, hey, you should have sideboarded here and here. Yeah, it might have been beneficial to show them my entire library and for them to not see any Bowmasters in there, because very few people are as so aggressively committed to Bowmasters as I. I'm going to keep this. I think they probably will have a trouble responding to a Tamiyo opening, but I want to keep Tamiyo as my force just in case they don't have Bobble, because you definitely need to force their enablers, like the draw enabler. Even with a Bowmaster coming, I think it makes sense to... when I say enabler, I mean like the draw engine. That's what enables their deck to be so powerful. It's just drawing all the cards. Nethergoyf, probably going to be dead if they have an early Rest in Peace, but I will, definitely force Rest in Peace because that's their path to victory is the Rest in Peace Helm combo. All right. Not doing anything. That's fine with me. I'm going to fetch an island while I can. And I think Psychic Frog does have higher upside than playing Bowmasters right now. If they stop it somehow, that's fine. It'll grow the Goyf. We could pitch card. I don't think it makes sense to pitch cards to feed Goyf. Obviously, these Bowmasters are our best card in the matchup. We have our colors beneath us. I feel like pretty favored here. I'll force Argothian Enchantress. What is that? Is that a Plains? I've never seen this before. It's kind of cool. It's like pixel arty. This, I'm going to force. This is an enabler, and it is a blocker. And I want this in my graveyard. I might as well use forces now. You know, force pack, smoke them if you got them. Okay, this is great. So I'm going to start by pondering here. Just going to see what I find. Hook it up. This is great. Okay, so I'm going to put this at the bottom. This is so good, by the way. Like, so we can play this out. Now we can bobble. And this is going to be hitting for 4. Everything but the creature. They are going to rip a rip, which is going to be like rip my library here. That sucks. We are going to have to let them do that. We're going to get our damage while we can. So I don't think we pitch the force just for like a one-time boost of 2 damage. I don't think it's worth it. Or pitch the Bowmasters. We're going to draw another one. I think having 2 Bowmasters out is a great path to victory. Like having one out and then having one in reserve. I think they're likely to just play rip immediately. So we get the ponder here. We do have ways of bouncing it back to hand. That's fine. But if they have Helm next turn, there's like nothing we can do. So they can still win through just Helm combo. We're not going to be able to erase that. All right. So if their last 2 cards or last 4 cards contain land, Helm, we're going to be in deep, deep trouble. So I do think it's going to be worth it to ponder trying to find a force for that Helm, or a Brazen Borrower will temporarily save us. This Strix doesn't do it. Yeah, I think we just ponder here. Force. Yeah, I'm going to hold the Borrower, and I'm going to plan to force. I am going to go ahead and just play this out for damage. It does make like a sweeper effect more devastating, but I want to get damage in while I can. They may be conceding. I'm getting some lag. Yeah, that worked. And we did have the force backup in case they had Helm. So that went precisely according to plan. But now we're on the draw, and they know about our Orcish Bowmaster's pivot. I think Daze is pretty bad on the draw. I think we're better off putting in Emperor. Consign is not terrible. It's pretty bad. Actually, if you think about it, though, Consign isn't terrible because we can cast it around Bobble. It can counter Bobble, and it can stop like draw triggers. So let's say they have whenever you no, it can. It's just like a 1-for-1 with draw triggers. I think it's better than playing Daze though. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to do here. I don't think so. I mean, I don't want to board in more removal. I think that would be a mistake. Nethergoyf did do enough damage that we got them low. We don't know how low. It might have like shaved a turn off of the clock. I don't think we take out Nethergoyf here. I just can't believe they're not playing Elephant Grass. Surely they're playing Elephant Grass. I'm not sure that Emperor Bones is the right card to anchor, but it's not letting me change it. I probably would go back to having a single Daze or another Consign to Memory. This has all our mana types. It has a Psychic Frog. We're going to have to turn 1 Lorien Revealed to get our island, but from there we can start frogging. Is it good enough on the draw? We don't have a force. We're not going to have an explosive start by any means. Double Psychic Frog is good, but their deck draws so quickly. I'm torn. I'm very torn. Okay, leave a comment if you think this is a keepable hand. I think that we can do better. Maybe I'm being super greedy. Let's see if we mulligan into Oblivion. They mulled to 6. This is better. I think this is better for the following reasons. 1, we can put back the Nile Spellbomb that doesn't do anything here. We have Borrower. We have Force. Yeah, I think this is... And then we have Nethergoyf to start the clock. So I think... Actually, they're not going to be going after our lands, most likely. we could just put the land back, which is super aggressive. No, now Spellbomb's the card we put back. I don't want to like find myself in an awkward situation where I just don't have enough lands because I got greedy and wanted to be able to put a Nile Spellbomb to get extra damage. I don't think we go that far in on the Nethergoyf plan. This is fine. This is how their first turns are almost always like, I think they probably play 8 growth effects. All right, so I'm going to go get the swamp. Again, Blood Moon is a card that they play. And we're going to Goyf. It feels so good to say Goyf. It's been years since Goyf has been a relevant card. But, you know, Tarmogoyf's more powerful descendants. Caracas. So Tamiyo is off the table. Rest in peace. I'm going to force that. That's an enabler. And we will sadly pitch Strix because... Should we pitch Borrower? Okay. I think we pitch Borrower here because I can put Baleful Strix into my graveyard. Yeah, because I can Psychic Frog and then I can discard Baleful Strix and hit for a lot. And that ups the aggression. All right, Tamiyo is Force Fodder. She's not going to be played out here. We might be able to get into a situation where we could like ponder and get Tamiyo on the table. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and Psychic Frog here. I'm going to go ahead and they don't have any mana available. I'll just do it now. I'm going to discard this. Now that's a 4/5. We're going to attack. 15. All right, the clock is ticking. Our hand is basically empty. The best card we could draw would probably be a Force. If they just follow up Rest in Peace, we're in a pretty bad place. That taps for 1 white mana currently, but they're going to be able to get like... It looks like they're putting Enchantress Presence. Yep. I was about to say Enchantress Presence because it's 3 mana, and it does boost the Seer Sanctum. We'll see whether they go ahead and play through this. They do. All right. We're going to get another attack. If I don't draw a Force, I will be tempted to pitch Tamiyo just for the extra damage here. Consign to Memory is quite good. See, it doesn't change the clock. Well, yeah, I think we pitched Tamiyo. Well, let's see. Pitching Tamiyo, we hit for 7, and then it's basically a 2-turn clock, and we have Consign to Memory up. I am going to discard this. I don't think it helps us, and I just want to maximize the likelihood that we get them behind the 8 ball. Bowmasters, the best card we could possibly draw. My goodness, such a good... Okay, so if they put a draw trigger on the stack, I will Bowmasters. But I want to, just in case they have some miracle, you know, like One Ring or something, I don't want to Bowmasters until I've definitely stopped that. Our Guardian Enchantress is fine. Now they're going to cast an enchantment. Let's see what they can do about this. They have 0 cards in hand. They are going to draw. Okay, and we're going to have a super duper lethal army here. Draw for Enchantress... Presence, then they're going to draw for the Enchantress herself. These are going to need to be some good cards. Elephant Grass would do it. But you don't seem to play Elephant Grass for some crazy reason. Where's the Elephant Grass? Okay, you can remove one of my creatures after I ping you a whole bunch, but you're dead. Unless you got like a second one. I mean, they may be able to draw enough of these. Bowmaster's just taking them to the cleaners. All right. Now they have to probably hit the Orc Army. Or they're hitting my Bowmasters itself. Okay. They have 2 mana floating. They've already made their land. Oh, no. They've got lots of land. Okay. So now they get to draw a bunch of cards. Okay. This is where we're going to see how powerful their deck is. If they can figure out a way out of this, I will be incredibly impressed, and it will be a testament to the sheer power of the deck. Veil of Summer. Okay. Drawing a card. Plow. All right. I'll gain some life. They can block, by the way. It's not a lock. They have 1 white mana floating. On Thin Ice could get one of the... Oh, we did it! We did it! Yes, we're 3-1. I love this deck. Okay, let's go into the final round. Again, Orcish Bowmasters was just an absolute house. So this is the card I'm talking about. I keep talking about this Elephant Grass card. I'm sorry, but if you're watching this, Moro66, if you are watching this, please consider putting this card in your deck. MTG. This card is insane right now. It is positively bonkers. And cumulative upkeep 1. Black creatures cannot attack you. Think about how many black creatures there are in the meta right now. It's a 1 mana enchantment. Like even back in the day before Bowmasters printed all this stuff, I would always play 4 of these because it's just like so much card draw with your, and it slows your opponent down. And the name of the game, Solitaire, is to put yourself in a situation where you can essentially play as though you don't have an opponent through cards like Elephant Grass, through cards, Vexing Bauble is a great addition to the deck for sure, through cards like Solitary Confinement. Solitary Confinement is the other big card, which I didn't see out of their deck, and I'm wondering if they're even playing it. But it's a great card. So, man, I might actually build Enchantress and I feel like people are playing it wrong. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Solitary Confinement unless you discard a card. Guess who has a whole lot of cards? The deck that's been drawing 4 or 5 cards a turn, right? You have Shroud. Skip your draw step. Okay, so as long as you have cards that you're drawing from Enchantresses, you have Shroud. Prevent all damage that will be dealt to you. You are unkillable. Unkillable while this is on the table. Yes, they might Brazen Borrower it back to hand. But if you have another card, which is... And you might be thinking, oh, this is like a multi-card combo. How does that work in Legacy? I don't know that it does work in Legacy, but it works a lot better than I think what we just saw, which was a lot of cards that were not sufficiently defensive, in my humble opinion. They did have this card, Sterling Grove. This is great because it finds whatever card you need, and it gives all your other enchantment shrouds. So now basically they have to have 2 pieces of bounce or 2 pieces of enchantment removal, which like very few decks have 2 pieces of enchantment removal at any given time, right? Like maybe Jeskai Control would be able to deal with this and deal with the problematic. But generally, like once you resolve this, and then, if they do target it, you're like, sure, I'll just sacrifice it. I'll go search for another one. And then next turn I'll play it out, right? Like you have to deal with it immediately. That's such cool art. Look, like they're like hands coming out of the ground with leaves. It's kind of creepy. All right, so let's get back to the games. But that's Enchantress, and I do think it's not well positioned with Bowmasters in the format, but I do think it's potential. Every single one of these has been very close. Look, this is a deck that wins on the margins. It's difficult to think of a matchup where we have like a 90-10. Almost all the matches where this is favored like 60-40, right? And like I don't think we're favored in that previous matchup. Certainly not if they played Elephant Grass. And I apologize if you do play 4 Elephant Grass and you just didn't draw them. I don't know how that could be the case because you just drew half your deck in 2 of the games. But Elephant Grass. Just completely stop opponents from attacking you for 1 green mana. It's bonkers that people wouldn't be playing that right now. Assuming they're playing Enchantress. Okay, I'll stop talking. I think I've made my point. See you in round 5. All right, we are back against the trophy run killer himself, Bosh and Roll. And we're not on a trophy run. We're just 3-1. But, this seems like a keep. They could be on literally anything. A lot of times, Bosh and Roll, he gets like nonsense submissions. I want to be quick and make a snappy decision. I think Island into Tamiyo is a good place to start because it asks a question, and then next turn we can brainstorm and potentially flipper. I'm going to do that. Also, there's a lot of Stifle and stuff like that running around, a lot of Wastelands, obviously. So just getting an Island and getting ahead of it, I think is good. I don't think we want to get non-basic into Nethergoyf yet. If Bosh and Roll is playing a deck that he personally prefers, it's probably a more controlling deck. So that's worth noting that we may have a little bit more time. We may not need to be quite as aggressive with Nethergoyf. I don't know. I'm just trying to justify my keep there. All right. Also, this does mask the fact that we're UB. All right. Okay. It looks like they're on UB. Blue-black. They kept... I really hope this isn't rescam. I just don't want to play against it. I understand that people are probably asking, play rescam without the grief, So I'm going to attack first, and then I'm going to brainstorm here and hopefully find a land and flip my Tamiyo. They may force the brainstorm. The question is, do I force back, knowing that I don't have a land draw for the turn? I think I probably do. I don't think they're going to daze. I think he's had his username for so long that they used to allow spaces. I don't think they allow spaces anymore. So I am going to force this. We're going to pitch Baleful Strix. The upside of Psychic Frog is a lot higher. And now they know how important this is to me to find a land. Fetch, hopefully. Yes! All right. That feels very good. I don't want to put either of these back. I think we do need to put back... We can put Nethergoyf back and draw it. I want the Psychic Frog March to continue. It's more important than Nethergoyf. So I'm going to do like that, and then I'm just going to play this out. Tamiyo flips. Play this out. I'm going to plus her, and I'll pass. So if they're on a try-hard deck, it's going to be pretty scary. If they're on like a silly kind of like Timmy deck that a lot of the people request them to play, that'll be a different ball game. Okay, they're brainstorming here. They probably have a fetch. I mean, they could be on like beans, but I think they're probably on what I'm on, or I have to quit calling it rescam because it's not scam anymore, or blue-black reanimator. Okay, that's what we like to see. The fact that they forced means they probably don't have a daze. I think I am going to go ahead and end step surveil here. Just get even more value. I don't think we take that at this point. I mean, how big would it be? It'd be a 2-3. The problem is I do want to get another land. I'm going to put it in the graveyard. Now they're really going to know what we're on. Okay. So I think I'm going to play Psychic Frog. And I mean, I could get back a force just in case they are on something scary. I don't know that ticking up is correct. I'm really not sure what to do here. I mean, this is like the most skilled opponent like you can play, basically on MTGO. Yeah, I think I'm going to get the force back. And then I'm going to attempt to Psychic Frog. Yeah, it's really intimidating playing against him because I checked on MTGO. He had more than 1,000 decks that he played. Or like more than 1,000 videos on YouTube. I'm not going to force here. I'm not going to 2-for-1 myself. This card is firmly for stopping reanimation effects. And those of you watching, obviously you're going to have the benefit of hindsight because you're going to see what happens. But if you think it was a punt to not go up with Tamiyo and instead to go down, let me know. I did just give him a couple extra turns to find an answer to it. But I felt like immediately cashing in to get a force was good. If you're unfamiliar with Bosh and Roll, like he just routinely wins like big 5Ks, and I don't know if he may have won like Eternal Weekend one year or at least top 8'd it. And he is the most prolific and probably the most watched legacy content creator on YouTube. So you're probably familiar with him if you're watching this, but be sure to check out his videos too. Okay, Thoughtseize. I think we just let this happen. They're probably going to take Frog. This definitely, like, this combination of cards definitely makes me think they're on Rescam or blue-black Reanimator. They're going to be disincentivized to take the force here. Okay. Yeah, I figured they would take that. Okay. Wow. Okay, they're definitely on Reanimation. This sucks because this deck is overpowered, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that the bans... So now I'm playing, like, the most powerful player with the most powerful deck. Great way to end out a league, right? Okay. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Strix here. See what we draw. It's certainly not a dead card, but it's not a great card. If they can just like Archon me, then that clears this and they can kill the Tamiyo. I will be able to get back Nethergoyf in a little bit. Not that that's necessarily a good play, but if we get completely empty, Nethergoyf is a card that I can pull out of my hat. And Thoughtseizing me again. Again, lending further credence to the idea of them being on blue-black Reanimation. Okay. They're taking my blue card, leaving my force by itself, and now pondering. I don't want to cash in Tamiyo yet. I think I do need a plus or one more time before I can get back a card. But I have zero pressure on the table. Best card is probably a land so I can get back Nethergoyf, because Nethergoyf would probably still be substantial. I'm not going to try to do the math right now. Okay, I'm going to plus here. I am worried that they are going to just straight up kill me. I'm going to attack here. I don't think they'll likely have any... All right, I think this is powerful enough that I should attempt to play it. All right, If they have the combo, they have the combo. There's nothing I can do. They know it too. They know that my shields are down. Next turn, I will probably return a Ponder or a Brainstorm, and I will have Force back up, but I felt like I needed to go in. I could have definitely just held and drawn with the clue, but the upside of Psychic Frog attacking and accumulating advantage, they don't have a monster in their graveyard yet. They could Psychic Frog and then discard a fatty and then, Underground Sea reanimate. They're reanimating my frog, which is fine. I've got tons of Fatal Pushes. I'm actually surprised they're doing that because they should know that I have Fatal Push. Okay, they're cutting me off black. That's why they're doing that. All right, but I am winning the Psychic Frog race here. And they are going to have to discard at least one card to be able to draw a card here if they want to attack into Tamiyo. I'm going to Ponder, looking for a... that's too slow for where I want to go. Yeah. All right, we got there. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and see whether this gets pushed successfully before I attack. This was a great sequence of draws, by the way. Like, we're getting very lucky here. Okay, we won. All right. Beat Bosh and roll on the most powerful deck. Now, let's see. They haven't shown me really anything that screams Reanimator. They may not realize. I realize they're on Reanimator. So sideboarding might change accordingly. What do we bring in here? Well, we're kind of already main deck prepared for this because I'm playing Emperor of Bones and I'm playing two of the Nile Spell Bombs. But the hallmark of this deck and why it's so format warping is it can fight on multiple axes. Bowmaster, there's a good chance they bring in their own Bowmasters. What is bad here? I think on the draw we do trim Daces. Do we? They're probably playing an incredibly greedy mana base with like very low resources. Baleful Strix is not the worst. It's not really made for this matchup though. They could bring in some Orcish Bowmasters, in which case this would be terrible. Let me take a look at the list from Max Dorshin. He may be playing this exact list. Let's take a look here, and I'm just going to... Okay, so I have to click here. I'm running out of time to sideboard. And now here.
Hello, Max Dorshin.
So, sideboard. Toxic Deluge, definitely good against me. Barrelgoyfs, Forced Negation, not coming in. Brazen Borrow, probably not coming in. I don't think they'll bring anything except the Fatal Pushes, but they do have 3. Okay, so they'll probably bring this in, especially since I showed them Strix. So here's how I'm going to juke. I'm going to pull the Baleful Strixes out, and I'm going to replace them with Orcish Bowmasters. Wait, they're playing Tamiyo too. This is tough. I think Brazen Borrower is important here. I mean, if they're playing... Yeah, I think we cut these. I think these aren't good. I do want to bring these in. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to bring in Bowmasters. And then the only other substitution I would make, I think we could trim maybe like A-Days. This is very fly by the seat of my pants. This is not how I like to sideboard. Yeah, I think Bowmasters might be able to get it done. Bowmasters is a good card. It applies pressure. It's one of those cards that even if they push, you still have the Orc Army. You still got the damage. I think, sorry for the little clicking noise there. I think this is a keep. Nethergoyf is good in this matchup. Let's think about this. Maybe this isn't a keep. If they have the combo, I don't think Daisy's going to be strong enough. If this is a 4-lander, I think we need to go deeper. We can get basics. This is a much better hand. I'm so glad I mulliganed. Okay, I'm going to put back the Wasteland. Because they're probably going to be playing on basics. They're just going to assume we're on the vanilla thing, and we kind of are. All right. So Surgical is going to be very powerful if they don't Thoughtseize. Now, they only play 2 Thoughtseize, even though they cast both of them. They're likely just playing 2 Thoughtseize. All right, Basic Island. That's a good start. I don't think they're playing Stifle if they're playing Reanimate. So Nethergoyf is the only thing we have going on. I don't think we play it out. I think what we do is we play this out, and then we have the option to Lorien Revealed, and then next turn, Nethergoyf can come down around Daze Protection, and we have Daze Protection for Surgical. They're not going to be comboing us this turn, but I still want to have Surgical on hand just in case of Catastrophe. Okay, they could bring back Troll this turn, and I do think it's worth paying 2 life to stop that. So I'm very glad that I put back that Wasteland. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do about this. It resolves. I'm going to swamp, and I'm just going to Lorien Revealed for an island and just get my basics. And then this can go get a Surveillant later. So Borrower, if they go in on it, Borrower likely gets dazed. I think the play is Nethergoyf. Oh, that's the play. So I do think we need to push this. I don't think we have the luxury of not pushing it. So I'm just going to push now, and we'll see what happens. If they force to protect, that'll be scary. They don't. All right. And I definitely could have dealt it there and gotten a Surveil. I'll do that next turn. All right. 3 lands in play, 5 cards in hand. So far, we've blunted their initial efforts. Okay, so I think at this point we do deploy Nethergoyf. We have Surveil to potentially get us something that we can do. And we also have Island Brainstorm, so we can shuffle stuff away if we need to. This is not the fight, but I do want to Brainstorm in response, just to get this out of my hand. I will definitely put back this Wasteland, and I think I put this back too. We've got our own Brainstorm. I'm going to do it like that. And I'm very glad that I brought my own Bowmasters in now, because I'll be the second Bowmaster. They may think that I don't play Bowmasters. Well, I do. They may have just transformed and taken the sideboard element of the reanimation element out and basically become my deck. That is something they have the luxury of doing, being like a I win deck and then also being a fair tempo deck. Game 2 and Game 3. But I don't think they would do that because they didn't give away how much they were into reanimation. So it's kind of like one of those mind games. Like, I know that they know, or they don't know that I know that they have reanimation elements other than that reanimate that a lot of fair decks might be playing. This is fine. I can cut this. Fetching. He's playing very slowly and deliberately and thoughtfully, not quite as slowly as I am, but he is not like a just lightning fast player. Okay, but he's surveilled the Underground Sea. That's fine. I'm going to try to surveil something into my yard. I think there's a very good chance that they have a daze at this point. This definitely goes in the yard. I don't think it's impactful at this point. All right, let's think about this. So Psychic Frog will go down to Murderous Cut. I think we attack in. They pitch some cards to Psychic Frog, potentially. I think it starts with an attack, and we see what they do. They're tapped out, but they could have force. That's fine. All right, so if we go ahead and Bowmaster now, then we can Murderous Cut. That does tap us out of being able to kill them. Another alternative is we Tamiyo, and then we have Murderous Cut. Yeah, I think that's better. So I'm going to play Tamiyo here. And I'm going to plan to Murderous Cut when they Psychic Frog. If they want to get Psychic Frog through the Tamiyo, they'll have to do some stuff. There's the Wasteland. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip black now. And when they pass to combat, which they're a good player, they're going to do that. Unless they had something else they were thinking they would do beforehand. I am going to go ahead and cut. And I'm going to exile land, instant, land, instant. So we have Daze Protection up. They are brainstorming in response. That's okay. There's nothing I can do to punish this. All right. It looks like it's resolving. That is great for us. They have 3 cards left. That's fine. I'm happy to draw the removal. All right. They're going to attack us for 1, which makes sense. Having wasted us, I definitely think they likely have a daze. So the best draw on my deck is definitely a land. So Bowmaster is actually more important than Psychic Frog is here, because our Psychic Frog is not going to really accomplish a lot without Bowmasters in play. So I do think I'm going to... That's fine. They're down to 1 card. If their last card is a daze, That's fine. I just have to live in that world. But I am going to try to get Psychic Frog out. And again, my real intention is them to daze this and then for me to resolve Orcish Bowmasters, but it looks like Bowmasters Frog is in, and they've already used 2 of their fatal pushes. I can bring Nethergoyf back. They can't profitably attack in. We don't know. They could have the combo in hand, but I don't think they have daze in hand. This is great. All right. A card that they could have is that card where you pay life, Toxic Deluge. I think we just attack and see if they block, and then we Bowmaster. I don't think they're going to block. Second Bowmaster. That's bad news. All right. I'm going to let it come in. That's fine. We might be able to get a combat blowout here. I think they're likely to block here. They might multi-block. Okay, that's fine. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first make sure that this resolves. This will hit one of their Bowmasters. And it is definitely worth keeping the frog alive here. So I'm going to discard. I mean, if their second card is also a Bowmasters, that's like an absolute nightmare. I think at this point, yeah, I need to keep the Surgical Extraction just because that's like their I win button. Okay, if they have a second one, I'll be devastated. They don't. Okay, wow. Well, Bowmasters was very good there for both them and for me. I wasn't expecting a second Bowmasters. I think we're probably favored here. I don't really want to attack into Bowmasters. The best draw on my deck is another Bowmasters or any removal. That will do, pig. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do this. I'm going to cast it off of this. Now I'm going to attack with everything but the Bowmasters. They can definitely do a lot of damage. They have a Bowmasters in hand here. They're petty thefting it back. That's okay. I'm just going to hit for 1. If their last card is Daze, it's a pretty big blowout, but I think the upside of playing this out... No, I don't think we play it out because then that subjects us to both... No, we can get Nethergoyf back if they blow this out. I'll get Nethergoyf back next turn. All right. So I don't think they have Daze. So I think our Surgical is likely to get through unless they just draw Daze and they already have Reanimate in their hand. I'll Surgical anything they Reanimate. Murktide. This is the card that I was worried about. The one where they pay life and they kill everything. Yep. And I said it out loud that it was a risk. I think it's fine. X equals 3. Yep. That is enough to kill everything. And they're going to ponder 2. Yeah, that was a really good play. I mean, that was a 2-for-1. I don't think that we play around that one out, that one off answer. I don't think they would have cast that if I hadn't played something out. Now, assuming they don't have a Daze, I'm just going to bring back Nethergoyf here. I do think we bring back the Nether... No, I'm going to play this Nethergoyf out. And I'm going to scare them by keeping my 2 basics up. And I'll pass. Next turn, I can bring the other one back. And now we're going to see Nethergoyf potentially take over the game. All right, they are passing without play. They can flash in Borrower, which is not a bad play. I'm going to start by attacking in. All right, Orcish Bowmasters is fine. They're poking me. Are they blocking here? They are. Okay. I think the play is to go ahead and bring back Nethergoyf here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our graveyard. I need to play quickly in case there's a game 3. So I'm going to go black, black. I am going to Nethergoyf. I'm going to exile creature. I don't want them bringing that back. Land. Instant. Sorcery. So that'll make my Nethergoyf smaller, but they'll eventually be bigger. Okay, and it looks like they're doing something to interact here. Dazing, that's fine. Okay. So next turn, we will be able to attack with a diminished Nethergoyf. But we did get, a card that was a 0-for-1, basically. All right, they're getting some selection here. I feel like my hand insulates me pretty well They're attacking. Every damage matters. They're going to be able to bring in the other Brazen Borrower here. Any land put into our graveyard will buff the Nethergoyf, so a land would be a great draw here. A Wasteland is great. I'm going to go ahead and do it. This will force them to put this in, and I can potentially push this. That's fine. I think, as weird as this may be, I am going to push now. Just because this is winning the race here. The Bowmasters is not necessarily winning the race. It's already... it might be relevant later, but right now it's not. All right, next turn I'll attempt to bring Nethergoyf back again after combat. Okay, land for turn. That's great for us. They're attacking. Orcish Bowmasters is insane here. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. Preserve the element of surprise here. They may be wondering why I don't bring the Nethergoyf back here. That's a totally legit question. And they're probably smart to realize, like, that's weird. They could have brought back Nethergoyf. They're going to get their other Undercity Sewers here. They could get into Hardcast Force Mana if Force is their last card. I wouldn't be surprised if they boarded out Force, though. I'm just going to hit it now. I'll do like this, and then they'll think I have Fatal Push. If they have Brainstorm as one of the cards in their hand, that's good. All right, that's good. Barrowgoyf is extremely dangerous. It's a 4/5. Barrowgoyf may flip this match on his head, depending on what I draw here. Flip the Strand. Does get us a Surveil land. Yeah, I think Barrowgoyf is probably death for us. We can potentially throw enough in front of it. I am going to escape here. Let's see. If I escape, 1, 2, 3... Yeah, I'm going to escape, and then I'm not going to attack. I'm going to go ahead and get the Surveil land here. I don't have a Surveil land left. I'll just get this. We're going to go like this. Bring back Nethergoyf, and we will exile land, creature, instant. Oh, we don't have enough. Never mind. We're not going to bring it back. That was dumb. I'm going to pass. I can't attack into Barrowgoyf. I can, multi-block, and I think, frankly, I probably will multi-block because this will totally take over the game if it connects. And if they have a single Fatal Push or anything, that's that. But this just does too much. I will definitely scoop if they have a Fatal Push here, just so I'll have time for game 3. Because I'm not gonna overpower this. They can't Brainstorm currently. So that is one thing working in my favor. They're going to gain 4 life. I'm going to crack back for 4 life. That might actually be better to just chump. Just because I might be locking things in their hand and give myself another turn to draw. This will take a lot of time. Let me click it. Get out of the way. Okay. And then they probably have... Do they have a third one? Or fourth one in their deck? They don't. So Tamiyo, I'm not going to screenshot. It takes too long. They have 2 Borrowers, 2 Psychic Frogs left. This is the only... Oh, they have 2 more Barrowgoyfs. They've taken out the most of the reanimation package. Okay. They have 1 card in hand. If they attack, I'll definitely just use my Orc Army to block. I'm so low on time, though. I'm really worried about game 3. Regardless of whether we have time to finish game 3, this has been an amazing game. They didn't attack. Okay, that's great for me. Because I would have just easily chumped there. Fatal Push is a great draw. I think we can't bring Nethergoyf back. I'm just going to hold this for confusion. They didn't attack me, so maybe they won't attack me this turn. Another Bowmasters would be great. I wouldn't be surprised if they have cantrips in their hand. Did I look? I got a chance to look at their hand. I didn't see it. I didn't even look. That was a punt. I think they did have a card in their hand when they did that. So yeah, I'm going to ping them here. Another Barrowgoyf. Yeah, not looking good. I do have Brazen Borrowers that can fly over this. I think I chill and I surprise them with this. And again, I'm basically giving up any chance of winning game 3. Okay, so here's what we do. I think we go ahead and we Bowmasters here. This is going to grow our army a little bit. So they would gain 8 and we would not be able to crack back with enough. So what we need to do here is we need to double block one of them and block the other one. I think they're going to go for the Nethergoyf here. Yeah, so I'm going to double block here. And I think I'm just going to block this one to prevent it from connecting. So we'll still have a Bowmasters in play. They're going to definitely kill our Nethergoyf and not our token. Fatal Push. Yeah, this is... I'm going to concede. I don't think we're going to get out of this. I'm going to draw real quick. I'm just going to try to play really quickly. So, Borrowgoyf is definitely a problem. That would... Yeah, we didn't have... I mean, Borrower would have been good eventually, but it would have been too late. Okay, so I think we do still keep our Now Spell Bombs in, but I'm going to take Extraction out. I don't think that's correct. If they're not going to have the combo, they might have the combo in. They may not even be playing the combo. They may just be playing Reanimate as a value card. I think Strix is bad if they're going to have Bowmasters. I don't think it's justifiable. Yeah, I think the way we win is we just get our Orcish Bowmasters on. Or that, and we just hit them with Nethergoyf really rapidly. They are taking a little while to sideboard, which makes me think they may be sideboarding back into the combo. But we didn't completely side everything out. We still have 2 Now Spell Bombs in the deck. I definitely felt like the not having Mishra's Baubles. Okay, I think I'm going to try to add these. Is it going to let me? Sometimes it lets me do stuff after I've submitted. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so it's letting me change. I think what we do here is we add the Baubles back in. No, I think we add the Strixes because these are really good if the game goes long and they're artifacts. And yes, they're playing Bowmasters, but they're only playing 3. I think we take out a Daze. I think we take out a Wasteland. There's no world in which I'm wasting them. But they are wasting us. This is kind of... Okay. We didn't even get to submit those changes. All right. Seems like a really strong hand. We can just go get basic Swamp, and then we can just chill until we find an island. Assuming they don't have like some sort of combo thing that goes over our head, I think we'll be okay. Actually, I'm going to go get basic Island, and I'm going to Ponder. It feels appropriate going against Island Ponder, keep himself, that we do this opening. And this also gets us out from under Bowmasters. I'm going to shuffle this. Even though it's really good, it's not a black source. So we have Force that probably we don't want to spend this turn. We are going to have a Wasteland. We're not in like a hopeless situation, but we can't actually cast anything on our hand. Okay, Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. They're going to see that we have, a really good hand, but it's not a hand that functions. They're going to take the Psychic Frog almost certainly. Everything else is redundant. All right, and they're passing land. No dice. All right. I do think just in case they kept a greedy hand, I am going to hit this. I mean, I think it makes sense. They may be wanting us to do that. And I'll look forward to watching Bosh and Roll's version of this and seeing whether he was like, yeah, I just baited him into wasting me there. But it could have screwed him off colors. He doesn't know that I haven't drawn a Wasteland. All right, another Underground Sea with impunity. He's not worried. Psychic Frog, that is fine. So that's mine. If I can borrow that back to hand, that'd be great. What I really need to do is find a land. Land, please. That's not going to help. I think we lost. I mean, it may seem like overly defeatist to be like, I think we lost, but I think we did. Because he's going to get an attack, and it's going to snowball. And I just didn't find... I mean, you could say that it was unnecessary for me to get the... a lot of this was dictated by my choice to get a basic island here. Okay. That's fine. I'm just keeping this island up in case they have like some sort of Reanimator combo. They do have Psychic Frog out now, so they can discard and reanimate. Okay, and they're not doing that. So if I can find a land, I can still push it. Well, it was fun playing with Bosh and Roll. It sucks that this happens after like a really exciting game 1 and game 2 that we just get mana screwed. And you could argue that wasting them there, that we haven't seen any consequences of wasting them there because we wouldn't have been able to cast any of our spells anyway. This is probably, he's more experienced obviously at basically every aspect of Magic the Gathering, so he knows when he can safely attack. And he's got 8 cards in hand. I don't think we're going to come back from this. I am going to take one more draw just in case. I mean, we do have double Bowmasters, so if we can get Swamps on the table, this would be like the most miraculous comeback. I think we're 5% to win, maybe, judging by our hand. I'm going to concede. I'll just give them the GGs. Sometimes Island Ponder doesn't get you there. All right, cheers. Well, that was a fun league. We did 3-2, so we didn't do badly. Let's go ahead and jump over to the deck for like the post wrap up. He said, "Don't tell anyone, haha, too bad." Like you all saw, Bosh and Roll said, "Don't tell anyone that Island Ponder doesn't always get you there." But we've seen it happen several times on the channel. Yeah, like I could have now spell bombed and then waited a turn. Oh, I wouldn't have had black to draw off the now spell bomb. Let's draw a couple cards if he hasn't disconnected. So we did have an Underground Sea coming next turn, but like the advantage he had built up was immeasurable. Yeah. So I'll look forward to seeing his side of the game, and maybe we can see what was actually in his hand there, because I believe he publishes everything he does. But let's take a look at the deck. So not beating the best player on the best deck. I'm not too broken up. I did get a game on him, and most importantly, I think I learned a little bit. What did I learn? Well, I will rewatch that and figure out where things went wrong. I don't think it was wrong to grab the island there. I think he was almost certainly playing 3 to 4 wastelands, and a single wasteland would have just completely put me out of the game. Island Ponder, at least I'll get the island to ponder again or brainstorm again if I don't find a land. But yeah, that absolutely happens. You just have to take your medicine. That's part of playing, a 18 land mana base is that, 18 and a half. Like sometimes it's just not going to work out. I like this a lot. I think that Emperor of Bones, the one game that he came into play, the one matchup, I think it was the versus Delver. I screwed up and I didn't actually get to use his adaptability, but I feel like just having him on the table was enough to prompt the concession. Brazen Borrower continues to be like a great out to different things. In that Pox match, for example, I think that was the other one we lost other than Bosh and Roll. Psychic Frog continues to be like, you've got to answer this. I don't think it's banned here personally. I know the Bosh and Roll thinks it should be banned. I wonder how much of that is just pressure from his fellow hosts of the Eternal Glory podcast. Eternal Glory? Yeah, I think that's the name of the podcast. They do it like every 2 weeks. It's pretty good. I almost always listen to it. Tamiyo continued to be good. All these cards are great, but the standout card for me, the card that has totally won me over, is Nethergoyf. This card is great. It just kept coming back, and we didn't actually have enough types in the graveyard, and I think part of that was poor sideboarding on my part. I shouldn't have boarded out the Strix. I think Strix is live against enough of their cards, and if they're not going to ping your Strix, they're going to ping your Orcish Bowmasters. Now, I think a lot of results-oriented thinking comes into play with Strix, where you're like, yeah, I had a Strix in my hand, and he had a Bowmasters in play, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't cast my Strix, or I Strixed, and then he Bowmastered in response. That is going to happen sometimes, but keep in mind that it's taking out your Strix. It's not taking out like the other vulnerable creature in your deck, the Bowmaster, and you really want Bowmaster to stick. So it's not the worst to put like some bait out there for the Bowmaster to have to go for. This removal suite seemed great. Murder's Cut. I don't like using the graveyard. I kind of think that this should probably be like a sorcery based. So here's the card that it's called like Blood Chief. I can't remember. It's like a weird name for removal. It's going to be a total mouthful if this becomes Blood Chief's Thirst. So next time I'll play this deck, I'm going to play Blood Chief's Thirst instead. This would have killed practically everything as well. I don't think there was a single card on the table other than Murktide during one of the games. I think we might have lost a game to Murktide. I can't remember. But Blood Chief's Thirst hits everything. And if it's late enough in the game, you can just hit a Planeswalker or a creature. And importantly, this is a sorcery, which, you could use sorceries in your Nethergoyf deck. So this brings us up to 6 sorceries, 6 artifacts, which I think is pretty healthy for Nethergoyf. I mean, you want your Nethergoyf to be eating a nice balanced diet so it can grow to its full potential, right? So I think this is where I'll leave the deck. The sideboard was great. Orcish Bowmasters continue to be all-stars as the sideboard card, and not they have stepped out of the limelight, and they're waiting kind of in the wings of the stage, ready to come on when as the substitutes. Harbinger of the Seas, we didn't really get to use it, but it is good. We just got lucky and dodged Eldrazi, which It's really good against Eldrazi. Consign didn't really play a big part here. Force Negation, I think we did boarded this in. Anyway, I could just talk a whole lot. Surgical Extraction, that one game was good. It was like a free removal spell, and it just gave me a sense of comfort throughout the game, knowing that we weren't just going to get, Atraxid, or even worse, I think again, this deck is Archon of Cruelty. I feel like that was really fun, and I'm looking forward to rewatching some of the matches and learning from them. I hope you are learning a lot as well. And MTGO, there's an endorsement for MTGO. Normally, if you want to get like a training session from Bosh and Roll, I think you have to pay like $50, $100 or whatever. I'm on his Patreon, and I just hang out occasionally and look at his like sideboard list before major events. But if you actually want to get training from him, it's like $50, $100. But I just got to play a game against him for free, basically, and I'll get to see his side of it on his channel. So that's going to be some great learning that we unlocked, and learning is the name of the game. The more you know. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.